And that kicks us off. And so we're going to start off with you, Komo. Explain to us what happened last time.
Last time, we've been trying to uncover the conspiracy with little to no success. We got attacked by the leader of this small community and nearly killed. But then we both got attacked and we've ruined the main hall of the castle. And so we are off to a trading hamlet, I suppose, as far as I remember.
Discazal is not much of a trading hamlet. It is an access point to a deep underground network.
All right, then we are off to that particular point on the map to try and recover one of the stones that the let me open my flip book.
Don't forget that Tisak Bree basically got destroyed.
Yes, he's sitting it out for a while. He got beaten, he got eaten, he got chewed out.
And then he got sandblasted.
Yeah, and burned. So we're heading out to this little thing on the ship. And we're going to recover one of the stones that are required to summon Mortivere.
Okay. So, the best way to describe Discasol is it is a hole in the ground. And inside that hole is the whole town. Because if you're above ground, you're going to be stuck in the sun. And underground is nice and cool. It's a bit humid, so it's a much better place to be than up there. All the cool air goes down and down and down, so... The main town itself is, it would have been maze-like until recently when they decided to excavate the central column and create a single large open space. It's still mostly flat. You know how sometimes there's those towns that look there are holes in the ground with like terraces and stages to how high you are. There's only like 3 main stages, and then you're like at the bottom where like a large market has been set up. There's a walkway going from the entrance all the way down to there, and every one of the stages has its own little shops and things. You can tell by the large hallway that's in the back, opposite of the entry ramp, that the rich district is somewhere deeper down. You
So there's
realized,
a little bit more than
yeah,
just
there's some
a...
more to the town, but it's like the rich up district. You come to the realization that you don't really know where to start looking for this guy.
We definitely don't. All the information... what exactly is the information that we have to go on, other
The
than that
information that they
it will
had is
be
that
here?
they were coming through here, which means that odds are they were probably registered at one of the customs office because people that go down into the caves can come up with all kinds of weird shit.
In which case we need to check the registry. Maybe butter up someone's... butter up someone in charge of that.
Okay. Doesn't take too long to get some directions over to the customs office. Because most people, generally a lot of people, like show up at this point. Because if you're an underground delivery person, you stay underground for a long time. So surfacers that want stuff aren't completely unexpected. You're pointed. So the entrance is to the south. You are pointed to a small quarter off to the west. To a small office that's near a large set of warehouses. There's lots of weird insectile creatures that are carrying all kinds of loads. And there's like a small little office with a nice window, and above it says Informations and Customs.
In which case I'm gonna knock to the bird and knock on the door.
The
He's
door.
coming with us. Or she.
Yep, the stranger's coming with you. Stormfeather. The window opens, and there's a friendly-looking face behind it. It's a dwarf. And they say, hello. What can I help you with?
Well, we do need to look for a particular delivery. Is it possible for us to describe this? Well, we've seen at least one of these stones already, so how does it look? What was the packaging and such?
The stone was just wrapped in like a bag with a little string on top. I think it was sealed so that they would know if anyone had tried to open it in the meantime.
Is there any particular detail to that seal?
That's just a red wax seal to make sure that people can just open and close it without leaving a mark.
Well, that's fair enough, but is there any particular imprint on it that
Nope.
we can tell?
No, it was just a generic circle. because you know you're not going to seal something that might be incriminating like that.
That's fair enough. In which case, I would describe the item that we're looking for as what exactly is the size of it? About foot long stone?
It's a stone that fits in your hand. It looks more like an orb. It's a very fine, like very deep and endless orb. It looks transparent, but you can look down into it for miles and miles and miles.
I see. Well, in that case, I would describe the item that we're looking for as about a fist-sized orb sealed with a bread wax seal, potentially. And we're looking for just that. I would imagine nothing else would be going with it, like the last time. It was just a delivery of that one stone.
Hmm. You see the figure kind of rummage around
Mhm.
in their paperwork here. Some papers going up and down, like just like that. Some files opening, and he goes, "No, I don't see any recent deliveries of the type or any expected deliveries."
Is he attempting to hide something? Would it be
No,
possible
he
for
looks
me to
like he's
try and
just going
recognize?
through the paperwork. Like
Hmm.
he seems like the kind of person that would be like, "Listen, I can't tell you if he couldn't tell you."
Hmm. That's fair enough. So either they have already came and went, or they haven't arrived yet.
Well,
Or,
are you new to the city? Do you know if
yes,
this was the office that it was to be delivered to?
are there any other offices? We assume there's only one.
Well, there is the Kobold Annex over to the east that lived down here for a long while. They also have a customs office that sometimes receive things.
Could you give us directions to that?
Well, you just go across the market all the way to the other side of town, and there you should find a guide that can point you the right direction to the tunnels. It's not too far from here. Heard they've had some trouble recently, though.
Trouble such as?
I don't know, something about their town being invaded by some lollygaggers.
Well, I guess we have our work cut out for us. I'm gonna. What would be the customary payment for this kind of information? Can I
Oh,
toss him like a gold piece?
it's just an information desk. He doesn't like get paid. He gets paid for his services. He doesn't need you to tip him.
Okay, that's fair enough. Well, assuming I assumed a dwarf would, at the very least, consider. But yes, I'd like to thank him, and I'd like to head out without hitting the top of the door because it's probably low.
Nah, it's actually been like rebuilt because surfacers
Mhm.
usually come down here, so it's been like modified so it works for you people.
All right.
Um, you do note that like a lot of like not as tall people live here. So you head outside. You follow the instructions of going across the marketplace. It's very busy. Like they're selling exotic underground goods. You smell things that smell really strange, and also very faint smells as well. It's very quaint. Leaves an odd taste in your mouth. But as you reach the other side, you start to notice that the buildings are very different. So in the center, it's like markets and houses and such, and to the west side, it's like big warehouses and storage spaces. Um, the east side is curiously just like smaller houses. Clearly not the best district in town, but still nicely kept. And at the end of the tunnel itself, you see a small stall in front of where the carved stone flows into natural stone.
Hmm. A quick clarification. Are these buildings carved out of the walls, or are they built?
It's a mixture. It's
Yes.
it's it's whatever they could manage at the time.
Hmm.
Like there are some buildings that have been completely carved out and then have been replaced with stone. As clearly someone bought like multiple properties and merged them or something or split them up.
I see.
So it's a weird mixture. It's dwarven stonecraft, so it looks really good despite that.
Fair enough. You did mention the stall. Is this the stall that we're looking for?
Um, yeah, the stall at the end it has a little sign over it. It's a crude wooden sign that says guides to the city.
Awesome. I'd like to inquire to greet the whoever's manning the stall and inquire the directions to the Kobold Customs office.
The figure kind of hand waves and goes, well, I don't think you'd want to go there right now. They're a little bit prissy over some things that have been happening.
Well, we've heard about that, and we've been thinking we could assist. Is there any solid information what exactly is troubling them?
So the guy leans back and they make sort of make hand gestures and they look around a bit. You know, they're sort of like, eh. So okay, the problem is that up until recently things were fine, but now they're not fine. Um, some
Such is
some some
life.
some pretty big problematic fellows came into town and started kicking everything over, and we were kind of chased out. And now, well, we came across some individuals with some suspicious customs, and they started making a fuss, and now they're in jail, and it's a whole situation, really.
I just cock an eyebrow at the description and it goes higher and higher as the story goes on. That is pretty ridiculous.
It's not a big town, to be fair. It's not too easy for a few jackasses to occupy it.
Big town because the people are small. Hmm. Well, I would imagine we have the means to handle the situation if something goes wrong. So we would still like some general directions to the place.
Oh, if you want to help, I'd be more than glad to show you to the small camp that's been put outside of it. You know, out of reach of what's going on inside.
Sure. You're probably cooped up in here and you would could use a walk, so sure, lead the way.
The stranger sort of wraps her cloak around because as you start to go deeper, it gets a bit colder and a bit chillier, and the air gets more humid. Um, is your character in any way used to the oppressive thickness of like tunnel air?
I would imagine no, and additionally I have a penalty, well, yeah, a penalty against cold in general.
We'll say that about half of that penalty is incurred as you're entering into a place that's like this is a cold place that is difficult to, like, you need a space heater and a space to stay warm here.
Yeah,
Um,
I would imagine I would lose my initiative here because that would slow me down.
yep. Um, but even with that, you eventually arrive at like a small camp. In the distance, you can see lights flickering, but that might just be your eyes playing tricks on you. Deeper down the tunnels, it's a camp of like kobolds, and they're all sort of gathered around. It's a pretty big camp, all things considered, but at the same time, they're very closely packed together.
Hmm.
So what are you gonna do?
Well, first and foremost, we would like to see about finding information what exactly is causing trouble, who exactly showed up, why did they show up, and so forth. Why exactly are they occupying the place?
Okay, so it doesn't take long to find someone who seems to be in charge of this whole operation. Mostly because they have a nice little crown made of all kinds of fancy glasswork and gemstones. It's also
Well, I guess suppose we'll have to treat them with due respect.
you really don't have to because they speak very callously as you approach, and they go, "Who is this
No.
then?"
Oh, just humble travelers
Hmm,
in search
not
for
much
a
traveling
special
to do here
delivery.
though. So turn around.
Well, you don't even know what we're looking for. Maybe you
Then what are you
have
looking
the
for?
information. We're looking for a special delivery. Uh, we're looking for a particular stone wrapped in cloth with a red seal on it.
Oh, you mean
And
that stupid trinket that we confiscated from a bunch of? Like he suddenly shuts up.
of course he does. And I would imagine I could attempt diplomacy. I could, sweeten up. Treat him with due respect. I mean, after all, he is wearing a crown, so I would imagine he actually has an ego. So I would like to appeal to that. Tell him, well, Your Highness. I would imagine that would be the appropriate way to address. What would be the appropriate way to address someone like that?
You have no clue. Usually crowns are highnesses.
Highnesses, yes. Well, in each case, I would attempt a diplomacy role in this and say, well, Your Highness, we respect your authority over this, but this item is of a very particular importance for us. So we would like to know more about it.
Why should I give it
And
to you?
In which case, I don't. Well, since he
Which,
confiscated it, it probably means that he is not the part of the cult. So,
well, you could ask him why he confiscated it.
hmm, fair enough. Is there any particular reason that you've confiscated it for?
Depends. How familiar are you with a big old dragon called Martivir?
Hmm. So he is familiar.
Well, he is a kobold.
Yep.
You would logically have heard something about it.
Yep. Well, we've heard about him, or it, I suppose. We've heard
You're
about it,
sure that's
and
all you've done?
what is he exactly insinuating with this?
You're you're getting this vibe that he might not be 100% on Martivir's side. Considering that he put cultists in jail and seems to know what the orb is, like you
Yeah,
mentioning it, he
that,
kind of
that's
flared
that's
up.
what I'm saying. Well, it's interesting because that would imply a divide in the whole cultist thing. He has put the cultists in the prison, but I wouldn't bet that he is also 100% on the side of Mr. Alik.
So what are you gonna ask him?
In which case, well, I suppose we're gonna have to be blunt about this, at least for once. Maybe it will work. I don't know. He has put the guys in prison, and the enemy of my enemy, I suppose, is at the very least a cautious ally. In which case, we're gonna say we've been attacked by the cultists before. I probably wouldn't be dropping the Elix name, but I would say that the cultists have attacked us before, and from them we have discovered that they have a very problematic plan of doing something with Mortivier. And we have been tasked with procuring the stone to prevent this plan from going into action.
Hmm. The little guy starts to rub his chin. Hmm. But
Also,
why should we
kobolds
trust
can
you with it?
be amazing.
Why couldn't you just be someone else sent to pick it up?
Why specifically us?
Yeah. Like, how can he know that you're not gonna just bring it anyway?
Hmm.
He takes this very seriously, you can tell.
I know. Well, the cultists have decided to kill us, and they have sent their very strong assassins against us. So I would imagine. Well, let me think about it for a moment. How would I put it? So he's concerned that we might as well use the stone and just do the same thing that the cultists are going to do.
Yes.
Well, let's quickly change the subject for just a second, because I'm actually curious about this. What exactly does he have against Martivir? Because he clearly isn't aligned with the cult, and which means he's going against this whole kobold supremacy thing. Is there any particular reason he's doing that?
Martivir is the great enslaver. That is all you need to know that he is no good breed.
There you go. I agree with this guy because this was essentially my point as well. Martivier wants to bring peace, at least as far as we know, by turning everybody in the kobold and then just control everyone, which I view as slavery and I view as immoral.
Well, slavery would imply that he makes him do something, which he doesn't.
He doesn't, but
It's more
it
like
is
involuntary
still.
polymorphing, if anything.
Yes, but after that, all conflict will be resolved, and that is taking away the free will.
Mm-hmm.
of the people because they will not be free. It's like if you surrender a part of freedom, then you surrender all freedom. I mean, who's to stop the dragons from being assholes and being tyrants?
Well,
Who's to stop Martivir himself from being corrupted? Because once again, it's not an omnipotent god; it's a very ancient dragon.
I think something that's omnipotent could still be corrupt, though.
I would imagine, in a general sense, a god that is omnipotent is incorruptible, specifically because he's omnipotent, because he is impartial, or it is impartial. It does not care one way or
Okay,
another.
but back to him.
Yes. In which case, I'm going to reveal that I hold the belief that Martivir's plan, at least in the way that uh, it is revealed to us so far, is essentially slavery, regardless of the ways they sugarcoat it and such. It is still converting. It's essentially casting a polymorph on the entire world and then installing what essentially is a police state because it will be monitoring everything. And if somebody thinks wrong, the dragons will sweep in and resolve the situation.
Okay.
Like,
Just kind of nods,
mm,
but he still doesn't take your word for it.
of course. What would it take for us to prove our
Words are
point?
easy, deeds are difficult.
That's fair enough. What would be the deed that you require us to do?
Well, they notice that your friend has big guns and figured you might be able to help with their little problem.
Not exactly is your problem.
A big old gem gargoyle showed up recently and started taking over the town.
So that would be the trouble that everybody's been talking about.
Yes, and they came with a whole bunch of followers, claiming to be some sort of deity. I don't know. You surfacers are weird.
Yes, we are. Is it possible for me to use my knowledge arcana or history to establish what exactly the gem gargoyles are, what they do, what their weaknesses are, and such, and consult with a stranger?
I think this would be a knowledge and nature check.
Knowledge nature. Okay. Well, I'm not trained, so I would. Well, I mean, I suppose I could still try to recall something. Click.
If you're untrained, you can't get your roll, but sure. You do know
Yeah,
that gemstone gargoyles are significantly more potent than regular gargoyles. They are resistant to spells. They're resistant to physical attacks. They're pretty durable. Like, if you were to go toe to toe with it, you better have some pretty big guns to back yourself up because they're tough nuts.
tough nuts indeed. What about the Stormfarer's knowledge?
The what knowledge?
Stormfarer's know the stranger's knowledge.
Oh yes, the stranger. Do they have knowledge nature? No. Oh, they do actually.
They do? Okay.
They surprisingly do.
Well, as long as they don't roll too low. I suppose we
Well,
can put our brains together.
no, she knows about as much as you do. Which is
That's
that
fair enough.
you better bring an adamantine weapon of sorts if you want to bypass the very thick gem-crusted body.
A quick review of the inventory then. Do we actually have a adamantine weapon? Or, I don't know, bullets made of that metal?
The stranger invests in all kinds of bullets, so she probably has a few.
Well, I don't think I have any. So, in which case, I would rub my chin, look at the self-proclaimed Kobold King, and ask him whether or not he actually has the ammunition made of adamantine for us to hunt those things.
You nuts! That stuff's expensive.
We know. And would I know how exactly how much it would cost to procure a sizable enough amount of ammunition?
I actually don't know how much an adamantine bullet specifically costs. To be
Well,
100% honest.
I've been meaning to attempt to dramatically procure and drop a little bag with money in his hands, exactly
Oh, it's actually
containing
like
exactly as much
it's
as it
it's
would
like
be
60
worth.
gold pieces per bullet, really,
Yep,
because it's really expensive stuff, and you're shooting it. That being said, the
yep,
bullet generally survives and can be reused. It's just you need to make a new cartridge for it.
yep. Would make sense for a Adamantine. In which case, for 10 bullets, it would be 600 gold. Let me check if I have enough.
Do you even you have a gun?
I do have a gun. I do have the shotgun. Remember, we
Excellent.
procured that one. No, I don't suppose. Actually, yeah, we do. We have 6,000 since last time.
A weapon made of adamantine costs an extra 3,000 on top of its base price.
Mm-hmm. In which case, we will need a sword for that, I would imagine. Let's see. You know what? I've been thinking of making the head for the sphere out of adamantine then. That would either reduce the price or, I don't know. Still,
You can have the head replaced for 3,000 gold pieces. Yes.
sure, that works. In which case, I'm just going to dump the giant bag of gold on top of him.
He doesn't have adamantine. Do you really think the small kobold settlement has access to that
I would
expensive
imagine
material?
he would at least be able to procure it because he knows that it is expensive, which means he has already looked
Considering that
around
his
for it.
town is occupied, he doesn't really have any trade routes he can conduct trade with.
Fair enough. Would any of the citizens of Discazal know where to procure that?
Odds are Discazal has just adamantine weaponry on sale, since
In
it's a
which case, I
pretty
would
big trade
like
hub.
to ask the Kobold King for directions to somebody who would have access to these materials
The
because
Kobold King doesn't go to Discazal that often, since he's usually concerned with monitoring
then
his
how
own
does he know
town.
the price?
He doesn't know the price you do.
Well, he does. He did say to us that it is prohibitively expensive.
Well, that's all he knows is that adamantine is expensive, because he's probably one time was like, I want something made out of it, and I was like, nope.
Well, all right. In which case, hold on to the stone while we're gone, and we'll be back momentarily.
So go back to town.
Yes, and we'll have to go back to the. I assume the guide was hanging out with us
Yeah, the guy's still with you.
also. Yeah. In which case, we're gonna ask him for directions towards the.
You arrive at a fancy dwarven blacksmithy soon enough.
That was quick. That is good service. I should give him some money too
They
after
might be
this.
sponsored, so who knows? This might be a scam.
Maybe. It might be a
That
scam.
being
We'll
said,
see.
you're into this is on the top layer of the strata that the city is composed of. So at the
Hmm.
top floor is a fine dwarven smithy with there's a chimney going up somewhere, probably some other tunnel. Um,
Hmm.
there's several weapons hanging on the walls. They look very nicely made. Um, Whatever their showroom models are actually functional is another matter entirely. But you also see the distinct greenish color of adamantine bars, so he can clearly make this stuff at the very least.
Well, we don't know what the quality of that metal is, but sure. At the very least, I can motivate him, and I have just a plan for that to give us the good stuff.
Hello there. How can I help
Greetings.
you?
Well, the local kobold community has actually had a run-in with some gargoyles, and we would like to procure some weapons to clean that infestation up. We will
What kind of
need
weapons
to
are you looking
replace.
for?
We're looking for ammunition for our firearms, and I am also personally looking for a replacement head for my short spear.
I got plenty of those lying around.
Yep.
What kind do you need? Just regular
I
old
mean, we
bullets
can
should do.
just metal bowls, yes.
He offers you some steel bullets.
You do realize that the gem gargoyles specifically require
Why would he
adamantine to
fucking know
pierce their.
he's a blacksmith?
Well, we just told him, and he tried to scam us. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
You didn't tell him at any point that he needed to bring you adamantine equipment.
I did. I just told you. I need a
Oh, I
adamantine bullets, and I need
misunderstood
the
because
adamantine.
your accent fooled me up there.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I'm going to speak a little bit slower, and I'll try to speak a little bit clearer to
But
avoid
yes,
the.
he does have some, like he has like a couple. Like he doesn't make these very often, and when he does, they're usually bought up by people that are hunting things made with stone skin. So um,
Yep.
he has
Well,
like 5 bullets lying around.
just
Well, actually,
five,
actually
more or
six. He
less.
has like a full pistol cartridge he can empty out for you.
Okay, that's fair enough. That goes to Mr. Stranger or Miss
Stranger already
Stranger.
has like 12, like 2 whole clips full, so they don't need it.
I see. Fair enough. Then I'll take those. But what about the spearhead?
Hmm. No, that will take a
Well,
while to make though.
how long?
At least a couple of weeks. Adamantine is hard to work. But he
Yes.
kind of reaches behind himself and starts fiddling with a couple of large, like, great arrows he has, and he plops an arrowhead off. I could just stick this on.
Well, that would work, assuming the great arrow is big enough for that.
Oh, great arrows are massive.
Yep.
They are basically like shooting spears at people.
Yes. How much would I would imagine he would want the 3,000 for that?
Well, it's only like an arrow that he's really giving you, so
Mm-hmm.
um, he only asks like 1,500 for it.
1,500? That's
Yeah.
fair enough. Is it possible to discern if the metal is genuine, if the metal is good
Do
enough,
you have any
of a
skills
good
that would
enough
help
quality
to
and such?
pertaining to such advanced metallurgy knowledge?
Yeah, well, I'm not a dwarf, so I would imagine I don't have mm, the proper know-how for that. Would well, I would imagine our Mr. Bird, Mrs. Bird. I keep forgetting. Is stranger male or female?
Doesn't really matter. Female, technically.
Oh, okay. Just address her properly. Does
Stranger.
she know? Does the stranger know? Because she clearly already has some, so I would imagine at the very least she can recognize, tell them apart. Point is, she's sponsored by
Stranger
Mr.
just
Don
takes out her
Esteban.
wakizashi, which is also made of adamantine, and
Yes.
slides it across the arrowhead. Nothing happens.
Awesome. That's good enough. Oh, my line of reasoning was since she was sponsored by Don Esteban, or a lake, I suppose, that Danhani, then she would have the genuine thing. We could just put them next to each other and compare. Okay, in which case we would like to pay the dwarf for the
Just
services
slam a
rendered.
sack of gold in front of him, and he goes, "Yeah."
Yeah,
He just sold an arrow for like a massive markup.
sure. That's fair enough. Well, it's interesting because it would be, for a great arrow, it would be cheap, but for a spear, it would be an entirely different thing. This is like the whole Zootopia vibe where they bought one giant ice cream and made a bunch of smaller ice creams out of
That's illegal.
it. It's
That's undercutting the market.
it's illegal as long as you don't get caught. And I mean, this dude technically would be motivated himself if whoever brought the gargoyles overruns the kobolds, there would be a bunch of, first of all, just refugees, and they would also try to take over his town. And you know what they do to traders?
Wait, what?
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 Well, we did tell him that there is a problem with gem gargoyles that showed up with a bunch of followers, and that, it's
Yeah,
an
but
army.
that's
It's a
like a
problem.
small kobold town. Like if they're gonna go over to this place, they're probably gonna get their asses kicked. It's an
That's fair
expensive
enough.
trading town with a nobleman district that probably has like some pretty high level dudes waiting to club people.
Okay, that's fair enough. In which case, disregard the previous statement. Well, I assume we are now, at the very least, minimally prepared for the goal ahead of us. So we would have to head back. We would probably send the guide back to his stall with like a
Oh,
couple coins in his hand.
okay,
Well, I mean, we already know the way.
okay, okay. So you make your way back then.
Yes.
You arrive back, and
Yeah. And as we are coming back, I adjust the arrowhead to the end of the spear.
it takes a bit of work, but you manage to sort of clamp it on. that it's at least sturdy enough. That'll function as an adamantine weapon without breaking.
Should be fair enough.
Yep.
Considering I do handle. Let me see. Yeah, I can craft trinkets and such.
Yeah, I know, but applying a spearhead is a bit different. But the point is that it works for now.
Yes.
You might want to get someone to properly affix it at some point. Um, and with that, you're back at the place. The the kingly figure sees you.
Yep. Make it perform a curtsy.
Just kind of grumbles at you.
Does he not like?
Doesn't seem to care and just thinks you're showing off too much.
Bah. He might learn a thing or two about the high society.
Stop talking about things that are tall.
I'm sorry, but this is funny.
You and your high society.
Well, yes. How high are kobolds again? 3 to 4 feet?
Three. They're actually less than 4 feet. They're generally three. They're like 2'10" to I think 3'2". So they're about to your waist at most of the time. If you're pretty tall, at least. If you're like 6 feet to your waist.
The character is 6 feet and 4 inches, 194
Yeah. So this guy
centimeters.
doesn't reach your waist. You can just walk between your legs.
I know. It's so tiny.
You should probably get like those shield bearers that can hold him up like an Asterix.
Yes.
At least then he'd be as tall as a normal person. Yeah. But he asks if you what you're planning to do.
We're planning to go in and attempt to clean up the mess.
He
After all, we
recommends
don't.
that you're careful because yeah, he saw like at least like 11 or 10 followers in there, so if you go into a straight fight, you might get into trouble.
Yep. Well, we usually try not to engage in just straight up giant fights if we can help it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in which case, we would like to head out towards whatever the town was that was taken over.
Indeed.
Ooh, I saw a glimpse of something through the window, I suppose. In the distance. Wait, was it that worm that we fought
Yes.
before? Okay.
So the town's designed in a bit of a honeycomb pattern. It's pretty like it doesn't seem to have like quarters to it. It just looks like a large burrow. It's got a lot in common with your average kobold snarl, but with a bit more like architectural flair to it. And as you cross the threshold of the tent camp and actually starts going into it, you hear like some voices behind you going like, "Oh, you're dead, you're dead."
Voices behind.
Yeah, you know the kobolds. They're like,
The
"Oh,
kobolds
you
that we just left?
Yeah.
Well, if I'm dead, then you guys will probably be next. So, cheer up for that, guys.
So the way this town is divvied up is it's pretty much enclosed. So any one of the districts, it's very difficult to just go to one of the other districts. So it'd be easy enough to confine a fight to one area and section. But you can start to tell that there's like a lot of kobolds that are statues, or at least there's a lot of like unusually placed statues.
I'd like to poke one on the nose.
You poke it in the nose, it feels like stone.
Is it like lifelike?
It's pretty well detailed.
It's pretty well detailed. Are there any particular poses? Are
No,
they
some of them
just
seem to be
standing
running
and
away.
posing?
Some are like begging for their lives.
I see. So it's more like the Vesuvius. Uh,
Yep.
right. So in which case, do the gem gargoyles possess the power to turn things into stone?
No, they don't. Not that you know of, at
Uh,
least.
not that we know, yes. Are there any particular creatures that are native to the region that have that kind of power?
Well, basilisks are known to sometimes be underground.
Hmm. Well, I guess we'll have to be on the lookout for basilisks. Just as a precaution, I would like to know what kind of protection it is possible to have against those. I would imagine just
Do not look
not
at
look at
them.
them.
Yes.
Not to look at the basilisks. Well, I've known an interesting character that was a basilisk that was blind and could not turn people into stone. He was very dapper and old. Well, in which case, I do have my sort of kind of hat slash helmet, and I suppose I could use that to conceal my eyes. I'd imagine the Stormfairy will have the hood. In which case, I would instruct her to be careful if she sees. I
Yeah,
give her the
yeah.
description as much as
Yeah,
possible.
she knows about this kind of stuff. She
All right.
reads books.
Sure. Excuse me, then, Mrs. Four Eyes.
You sure you want to
It,
antagonize me?
no, it's just friendly banter. I mean,
It's not
why
very
would you get
friendly when
mad?
you basically committed treason.
How did I commit treason by saying she has four eyes?
It's more treason, you know. You kind of didn't do what you were supposed to do. You were helping out the cultist in a way, so you're suspected of treason at the very least. Like the fact that that ogre spiel kind of cleared up
I
that you're
know.
at least on his side doesn't mean that that goes away.
I'm not off. I know, but that doesn't mean I can't make jokes. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Stranger is not in the mood for jokes.
Potty pooper.
Maybe if you start delivering results, they'll stop being a party pooper.
Well, maybe if they stop being a party pooper, I'll start delivering results. Yeah. Do we get our hit points back, or
Yeah,
are
you
we
get all
still
your hit
injured
points
from it?
back. Don't worry
Okay.
about it.
I worry about it because I want everybody to survive. So it'd be 73. Boop, 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 boop. Save. So are these to scale?
No, they're just like the seven districts that make up the place.
Mm-hmm. Well, is there any activity that we can see from the outside?
You can hear reveling, and you can hear like in echoes of like boxes getting flipped and such.
To somebody searching for the stuff.
They're looting, is more like it.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, why would a cult of a deity
Tribute.
loot? Yeah, I'm sorry, that's not how you get. I guess they're barbaric then.
Or they're making the best of a good situation.
Or they're making, yeah, or they're using the pretense to do so. Well, in which case, it would be prudent. It would be wise for us to use the ruckus as a cover to infiltrate and poke around without engaging anyone.
Okay, roll me some stealth checks to see how well you sneak.
Yeah, very badly.
Oh, didn't do that one right.
Probably just trip over some boxes and send a bunch of clutter just raining down the street.
So where exactly are you going to look? Because just drag your token onto what the district you want to start out in.
Well, I would like to start on this one, I suppose, unless the stranger has any other ideas.
Stranger doesn't know anything about like kobold architecture, so
Well, fair enough. Do I know anything about it, considering the
No.
kobolds have been living around me so much?
You've never seen kobold architecture like this, so whatever experience you have is not well placed.
It's not applicable.
Yep.
That's fair enough, in which case we'll just have to poke around at random. So we'll approach to this one on our immediate left, which is this.
Okay. This place has how do you say it? It has the feel of being more of a crafter district. There's lots of workbenches,
Hmm.
um, workplaces. Um, a lot of raw resources like metal and bone are scattered around. You see that there's a clear mess, and there's not as many statues out here.
Hmm. Seems like they weren't interested in the usual spoils of war.
Possibly.
Would imagine this place would have the highest concentration of money and expensive trinkets. So they are unlikely to be searching for those. Maybe they're looking for. Well, considering we're looking for the stone, I would imagine they are looking for that.
What do you mean looking for the stone?
The Kobold King has confiscated the stone. These
Yes.
guys arrived afterwards. I would imagine they are the ones who are
They
looking
arrived
for the
before.
stone as well. They arrived before that, and then the
Yes.
kobolds confiscated the stone from
The
somebody else.
the kobolds confiscate. So this is the timeline. Gemgar goes up. Kobolds have to evacuate. They set up camp
Hmm.
outside, like sort of waiting it out. Bunch of Rakshasa show up, like you've seen them in a cage. They show up and
Yes.
they're like, "Hey, we're passing through." Kobolds are like, what the fuck do you think you're doing?" Because probably someone sensed like the magic in this bag, and then the
Hmm.
whole thing escalated from there. And now you're here.
Yep. Okay, that's fair enough. Then they are probably unrelated to the whole thing.
Yep.
Well, is there any information or perhaps survivors in this place that we can find?
No, like most of them have run out by now.
Most of them, but not all of
All of
them.
them, basically. The ones that
Okay.
haven't made it out are statues.
That is a fair assumption, yes. Well, let's go counterclockwise, no, clockwise, and proceed to this district if there is nothing of note
As you
in
start to
the
move
current one.
along, you go through and out of buildings. It's a very open design. Like there's multiple doors and buildings. There's streets that go all over the place. You see a bunch of elves sort of gathered around a heap of metal. They're sort of picking through it.
Elves, are they
Yes.
drows?
No, they're just regular old elves. They have like some lights floating around them so they can see.
Well, this simply means that they have light sources next to them, meaning that outside the range they'll have a lot of trouble picking out things, so we can probably sneak with advantage.
Probably. I mean, you'd still make noise,
Probably.
and it's a echoey
Well,
cave, so
yeah. Well, in which case, I'd like to take my boots off and try to sneak like that.
I didn't know you wore boots.
Well, they're more like metal sandals or something like this.
Okay. So you're gonna try to sneak around them.
And not sneak around them, but sneak up to them and try to eavesdrop on the conversation. Considering
Roll
they don't know
stealth.
they're here, they might be. Yeah, that would be a stealth check. Oh, nope.
As
I
you
knocked
uh,
something over.
as you climb through one of the windows, your equipment just scrapes against the stonework, and they suddenly turn towards you.
And yeah, I'm in a
The
situation
light
that
floats
Skinner
towards
was
you
in.
and suddenly hovers like right above your head, sort of like in Dark Souls.
Yep. Hi, fellas.
They take out their bows and they immediately begin firing. Roll me initiative. Or did we
Well,
not do
considering it's
initiative in
very,
this?
we might do initiative, but I'm not entirely sure that I will have my mythical initiative thing. So
Fair enough. Okay.
yeah, I just participate with normal rules. So click. 1 second.
No, no,
Click
no.
the
We're just
icon. No?
what penalty do you take? Because we're not rolling in this one.
Oh, I see. Well, let's do the half of it.
Okay.
So I feel a little sleepy and sluggish without
You're
a
still
source of
faster than
heat.
them. The
Yes.
stranger dives up, instantly takes cover behind the window, like next to the door.
Yep.
Twirls her guns around for dramatic flair, and takes a few pot shots at them. They are quite far away. Like these are wide open hallway, like areas with like market stalls in between, so
Hmm.
they're uncomfortably far away. So this might be a tough shot,
Yuck.
even with what? Oh god damn it! It closed all the things for me. Oh come! Why does it always type in my freaking name like that? It needs to stop doing that. Auto entering my name and like search by name and tag. You want to search your own fucking name like an idiot?
Yep. I'm sure if you Google the problem, you'll find out why it's doing that.
Pew, pew, pew. Unfortunately, she's too far away, so that's not a touch attack. She only hits once.
With a
And
critical with the fourth one?
it is with a critical. So that shot just... Wow, I forgot just how dangerous those criticals are. So there's like 4 gunshots going... But only one of them actually hits. And one of the elves instantly just falls over as a bullet brains her.
Ouch.
Good, and the turn in your hands.
I would like to use my gun as well. Try to
Okay.
test it on the, well, I mean, I've tested it on the bug and it just bounced off. Whoops. What the hell? Oh, I guess I need to make the ranged attack and then calculate the damage separately. Okay. Click. Oh, yeah, because I was looking at the wrong one. Oops.
You hit. Roll your
I do
damage.
hit. Roll my damage. That would be 2d8. Or 2d8. Does it get the any other damage modifiers on this?
Nope.
Oh, fair enough. Boom.
So the elf takes a solid, just shoulder blow. I accidentally... No, here it is. There we
Hmm.
go. She takes one hell of a shoulder blow, but she seems fine otherwise.
It's interesting that they're still using bows, despite the fact that they can clearly
Probably
cast
because you're
magic.
in a cave and those things are super loud. Also, not very stealthy.
Yep.
And just enter some data
Well,
here.
now we have permanent tinnitus, I suppose.
Okay.
I would
Well, so
imagine at least a bird would have some kind of earplugs for this kind of situations.
bird is used to it. They don't care. Ha 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 ha.
Well, my ears are ringing then.
Yep. Bird, the elf, sort of leaps behind a nearby table, knocks it over, and fires at will. Just arrows
This
flying
will
through the air. Are
okay.
you taking cover or are you standing out somewhere?
Well, I've been climbing through a window, so I would imagine I would be stuck in the same pose as, isometric exercise character join me.
What is your AC?
One sec. My AC is 23
In
and
that
15 against touch.
in that case, I gotta roll for some damage.
Yep.
You take 5 damage as an arrow wedges itself into your shoulder.
Ow. I break it off and pull it out.
It hurts like hell to do so.
Yep. And the arrowhead is probably still stuck inside because, poof.
The stranger puts her guns away because this is probably going to pop your ears if she keeps shooting so much, and decides to go in for an attack on a charge. Also because it denies, Jesus. Goes in for that critical, it seems, and actually doesn't land. It's just an automatic hit. But it is enough to kill because these elves are not the sturdiest lot.
There were only 2?
Yep. Or it seems so. Because just as that happens and she sort of starts to sheath her sword again,
Mm-hmm. All the
The fact that
rockets.
you shot a very loud, that you both shot a bunch of guns,
Yes.
um, meant that some other people have entered the fray. I like the word fray. It's a nice word. Um, let's see. What can these mother cluckers even do?
Mother clucker. Is the bird using that?
No, 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 no.
Can I use it? Or is this going to be
Do
like
whatever you
racist?
want. I don't care. I don't go about this.
No, I know. I'm just saying it in character.
Okay. What
How?
happens next is that as
Hmm.
she cuts him down, that
Yes.
only took very briefly. Suddenly, she is attacked by like multiple attacks just coming out of the blue. Um, and she's just like, "What? Say what?" First,
Is someone invisible?
no, but from like the buildings have small terraces up on top of them, and from one
Hmm.
of them, or at least you think from one of them, suddenly falls a bomb that lands at her feet and explodes violently, causing weird magical chains to fill a large space around her. Let's see if she can avoid getting trapped. Nope. She is hanging by magical chains that are just binding every which way, and they are tightening and grinding, starting to pull her apart. As another person decides to shoot her with an acid ray for a whopping 6 damage. So she's now stuck in between the spaces,
Hmm.
between the districts, and is in a very, shall we say, easy to hit position.
Yeah.
Eka, it's your turn.
Yes. Those are magical chains. Is it possible for me to cut them in some way or tear them off?
You have no idea.
Is it the spell that I recognize?
It is not a spell that you recognize, actually.
Hmm. Is it a spell that the stranger recognizes perhaps and she can
The stranger is preoccupied with being choked to death.
ah,
And it's also not, yeah. Well, she is a sorcerer, so she probably would know this, but
that's fair enough. She can't tell me. Quick clarification on this. Does the spell continue on even with the death of the caster?
you don't know.
Well, I would imagine it requires concentration, so where is the
You don't
did
know.
I notice where the bomb
You
came
sort of
from?
not. You sort of saw a glimmer of like the metal encasing of the bomb coming from
Hmm.
opposite the street, but that's it.
Sitting on the other side.
Somewhere. You saw the acid ray, which came from a nearby pillar. That's the most you can tell.
From the pillar.
They're in cover though.
Yeah, well. Mm, don't suppose any of my skills would be relevant for this. What should I do? Hmm. I'm not actually entirely sure on how to proceed here.
Mm-hmm.
Is she going to be taking damage every turn,
Yes.
technically? Fair enough, in which case I would like to attempt to cross the street and into the building on the opposite side and try to reach the roof.
There. Okay. You rush across the street.
That
Um.
would be a charge.
It's a full move action, basically double move.
I see.
You move across the street, not getting hit
Hmm.
along the way, and dive into the building. You see no ways to get up on on the rooftop. Actually, it's just a open block of a room. It's very boring and bland. There's like a bed in a corner, but that's it. There's no direct access to any roof. Also, as you run past the stranger, she
Hmm.
kind of like growls at you.
Growls.
Yeah, you know, like you're leaving me behind or something.
No, I'm trying to kick the ass of whoever's casting this spell on you. Well, I mean, it was a bomb,
Yeah.
technically. If there's no way up the roof, I don't suppose I can climb it.
Roll me a reflex check as you
Yes.
go back out the building again.
Yep. Just poke it out. Boom. I flaunt it. I get hit by something.
Yes, because whoever was on the building knew that people would try this and set up a bomb to trigger when someone tries to leave the building again.
Is this the same bomb?
No, it's a very different bomb, but it's just as much fun. What kind of dice do I roll? I think I rolled. Where's my d8? There it is.
Do tell.
You take 8 damage, and you are blasted onto the street face first.
Ugh. Wow.
As a large
That was
fiery
not fun.
explosion consumes the building behind you.
Holy crap.
You are now prone.
Yes. And probably is easy to hit.
The stranger is going to attempt a strength check, which I probably should just do like this. It would save me the hassle.
Just roll a d20.
Yep, she manages to pull one of her hands free, takes out her wakizashi, and just starts slashing at it to free herself. She doesn't make a lot of progress, but she has managed to free a hand.
So at the very least, she can shoot at whoever's on the pillar.
She's managed to free her neck, so at least she's not being suffocated. But
Yes.
then comes the fun part of her taking another... Let's see what kind of... She takes another 7 points of damage as another ray of acid just burns her alive.
Damn.
Yep. And because you're on the ground, you make for such slim pickings.
Yeah.
Roll me a reflex check.
I just did, though. Or
You
did I
have to
have to
roll
do
me
it?
another one.
Okay.
A bomb falls right on top of you, but you manage to roll out of the way as a large blob of glue just sort of lands right beside you.
So they clearly don't want... These guys are using status effects on us. This is neat.
Be glad you're not glued to the floor. However, this guy is a swift little bugger and gets to make another move. But you don't know what he does.
Yet? Or just in
You
general?
have no clue what he did.
Whoops. So what
But you
exactly is glued to the floor?
There's
Did
just
I
a
get out
big,
of it?
you do basically roll it out of the way, and now there's a giant wad of glue on the ground next to you.
I see. Well, in which case, I would like to get up and, at the very least, attempt to reach the column. I would imagine it's also booby-trapped, although I'm not entirely sure how they would prepare this fast in advance.
Also, by this point, you know that the guy on where the guy on the roof approximately is, and you know where the guy behind the column is because you saw him as you left. So, you have knowledge of their location and can attempt an attack on them.
Well, what I was thinking is since the dude is hiding behind the column, that if I move around the column, then he would be exposed to either me or
Yes,
the stranger.
you could do that.
Yeah, in which case I would like to do that. Move as far as I can towards the column so that he has no safe zone there. And if I can still see him, then I would like to attempt to shoot him with my gun.
You're just going to point blank blast him. Go ahead.
Yes.
You can see him. If you have dark vision, at least. Because these guys are sitting in the dark. Do you have dark vision?
Let's see. I don't have dark vision, but I do have the low light vision, which did
20%
the
concealment.
orbs 20% fail then.
Roll me a d10 to see if you make it. You need to
Yep.
roll a 3 or higher.
1d10.
Okay, roll me an attack roll for your gun.
Yes. 1 second.
But now that you're
Yep.
actually here, you can see what you're looking at.
It will
what you
probably illuminate the area. After all, it is a gunshot.
You see a gnome, actually, a gnome in in very tight clothing, very dark clothing too, and they're wearing special goggles. But you manage to just blast them in the leg. Pretty low, pretty high up on the leg too, but in the leg nonetheless.
This is interesting. This is interesting because this person has clearly had the chance to prepare the traps, which means he's probably one of the original survivors
What? Survivors of what?
of this area. He had the time to prepare the trap, which means that was probably his shop or something, or his house.
He's not a kobold. He doesn't live here.
Yes, but he could have.
I
At
mean,
the
these
very
guys
least,
have
it seems
been here for a while. They could have set up their own traps.
that's fair. What I assumed is that they would prepare the traps for the kobolds in the perimeter or something. They wouldn't be specifically setting up traps for somebody to enter the house. I don't know. Maybe it's just that was their plan from the very beginning. In which case, yes, we need to finish him off. Also, it's interesting that this is a multicultural, multinational team right there.
They're
Are
adventurers.
the younger girls sentient, by the way, or are they just beasts?
Are the what sentient?
Gem gargoyles.
Yes, they are intelligent beings.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I did hit the guy in the leg.
Yep, you hit him good. So the stranger, she can't really see any targets, so she just continues to whack.
Yep.
Um,
Since the guy shot in the leg, I would like to attempt to tackle him and throw him into his own goddamn glue. And then
okay.
go help the stranger.
So cut, cut, cut. She's free now. Um, she rubs her neck for a minute. Ugh, because that took a lot out of her. So the
Yes.
person that's standing right next to you, um, he sort of rubs his hands together real fast, walks up to you, and just slams you with both of his hands for a touch attack. What's your touch AC?
My touch AC is 15.
In that case, he hits you
Yes.
with a devastating, shocking grasp, which is a delightful 46.
Yeah.
Oh yes, you're wearing metal armor, which meant that he would have hit anyway.
Yes.
You take an unpleasant 12 damage as he just zaps the shit out of you.
Ow, that tickles.
The other one, you hear another of sort of a bomb triggering behind you, as a bomb whoops goes through the air, right at the lady. Oh, she dodges out of the way, as another just giant pillar of salt just appears beside her. You get the feeling that whoever's making these bombs has no clue what they're doing, because they're just throwing random shit out at this point.
That is strange.
And then, they drop down from where they're standing. They are a rather large hulking figure for something that was hiding and throwing bombs at people. As in, they are large, and they look very muscled.
Oh, goddamn.
It's your turn, Eka.
Yep. Well, since he's at me, I would like to grapple him and toss him into his own trap to disable him, at least
Roll
for the
me a
time
combat
being.
maneuver.
What would that be? CMB?
Yeah, CMB.
There we go.
Second. Oh yeah, that's a. You grapple him and you throw him. You throw the
Into
little
his
gnome
own,
into the glue.
into the trap. Yes.
Let me see if he actually manages to get stuck. He's kind of stuck. Like he manages to keep his hands free at the very least. However, since he's now basically a sitting duck, the stranger takes out her guns and starts shooting at the part of him that cannot move.
Well, he was already injured. He was
She hits him
already
in the
shot in the
legs
leg.
and hits him in the legs in such a way that, like, you know that there's like major arteries and veins running through your left leg.
Yes, the
She
femoral
basically blows
artery.
them out.
Shit.
He just
That is a nasty way
he
to
falls
go.
over very awkwardly as blood is gushing and he just loses consciousness. No one said adventuring was pleasant business.
It wasn't, and yes, the femoral artery injuries are just death, especially in this kind of conditions without magic and whatnot.
Anyway, the large hulking figure walks over to the stranger who just shot his friend and some other friends. Oh fuck! And just kind of picks her up by the head and throws her aside against the wall. No, you know what? He's gonna slam her against the wall.
Ouch.
And that's a hit as well. Well, dice, don't kill her too hard. Jesus Christ. That's 14 points of damage as she's just kind of against the wall with her face, of all places.
That's a broken beak, probably.
That's unconsciousness if she doesn't make it. What's her fortitude? Let's say fortitude, actually. And she falls unconscious onto the floor. As she's released, at least.
Can I identify the attacker?
The attacker is human, although he looks very non-humanoid. Like, he looks like a human that's been mutated. And he smirks at
Corruption.
you as he finishes off the bird.
Is she dead? Or is she just
No,
unconscious?
she's unconscious on the floor, which means she might as well be
Well,
out of the fight.
well, she is. It's just like finishes her over. I thought, like, what is he gonna just crack her
Well,
neck
he
or
might
something?
next turn.
Oof.
Throw that mystic energy into the ring, boy.
Okay. Well, we haven't hit him even once, so we have no means of
You've
discerning
not attacked
whether or
him
not
once.
Yes, that's what I said. Well, okay, fair enough. We haven't attacked him once, so we didn't even know. Yeah. In which case, I would like to use my weapon once again from this distance. And add to my inevitable tinnitus. Should be a big enough target and hard to miss.
So you hit him with a slug, and it just kind of buries deep into his stomach muscles. But as much as that should probably kill him, he doesn't seem to care at all.
Jesus Christ. What would be the difference of using the adamantine ammunition, by the way?
Only that it bypasses certain types of DR. It's just that it
Hmm.
cuts through particularly stiff objects better. And so it's the stranger's turn. The stranger gets a fortitude save to try and wake up. That's enough to wake up. She slowly comes to and decides to roll away, just whoop, over the floor because this guy's like looking at you, giving you that "I'm a big scary monster" smirk. She
Well, you know,
pulls out her
I'm
guns
a
and
big
goes for a
scary
standard
monster
action,
too.
which means she gets to shoot once.
Heck.
Or she could throw her wakizashi if she's really nuts. You know what? Let's go with that.
Throw the weapon?
Yep. And since he's flat-footed because he's not paying any fucking attention, he suddenly has a wakizashi sticking out of his back.
Way to go.
He doesn't look phased, but at the same time, you get the feeling that he has taken like significant damage. It's just that he seems to be dull to the pain.
He's ignoring it.
And he walks over to you, and he walks over to you. But as he does, he pulls out something out of his bag, and it's a bomb, and he's gonna slam you with it.
Holy crap.
He hits you. So what he does is kind of insane. He slams the bomb into your chest. It explodes. His hand is burnt to crisps, and you are knocked back a few feet and take some damage. This is not the most effective way to actually detonate a bomb, and thus it only does 5 points of damage, while he takes 4.
Still, that is goddamn impressive. Holy crap.
It's intimidation tactics.
Well, I'm not easily intimidated.
It is now your turn.
Well, let's see what I can do. I'm on the floor again.
No, you didn't fall over. You just stumbled back.
Oh, I just stumbled back. Well, let's see. I do have my ref ability. So let's see how well that will work.
Okay. Luckily, it's a line, or you'd hit the stranger. Stormfeather would not appreciate that.
Wait, what?
Luckily, it is a line instead of a cone. If it was a cone,
Yes,
it would have hit her.
instead of cone, yeah. Which is why I'm going to aim at the center mass. I just lost the thingy.
Mhm.
Class features. There we go. Revelation, fire breath, click.
So you burn him to a crisp. You shoot a fire beam at his chest, and his chest
Yep.
starts to melt as if it's made of wax. Until eventually there's just a hole where his heart should be, and he just falls over, and the beam scorches his head as he falls back.
That was an artificial construct then, huh?
Nope, because as you wait and the blood flows out of him, he turns back into a normal person, and all the melting stops.
What the hell kind of spell was that? Witchcraft.
Witchcraft, says the freaking oracle, with the curse.
With a curse, yes, but my curse is being cold-blooded.
I need to remember
I'll
that
rush over.
she can cast spells too.
Who, the bird?
The bird can cast spells, yes. She's
Yeah,
actually a
well, I'm
sorcerer
gonna...
who's just really good at shooting guns and holding swords.
Yes. I'm gonna rush after her and punch her in the face with the heal spell. Let's see.
Smack,
Which is the
smack,
best one
sugar
I
smack. Do you have any
Yeah.
abilities, mythic abilities that would help with healing, or?
I don't think I do actually, but I do have the Cure Moderate Wounds, which is technically a touch spell, I think.
Yeah, you have to touch the person in question.
Touch spell, I just kind of slap her in the face with it. I mean, she just got bashed into the wall, so I just kind of grab the same spot and just heal her. So,
It was unconscious for like
click.
6 seconds.
Yes.
So we got that plus 6, so that's 19. She feels a lot better. In fact, I think I healed her more than she has HP.
Have I?
No, I might have accidentally overhealed her. Nope, no, she's still okay. Just making sure.
Yeah.
But she's like, whew, that was something else.
Yeah, that was pretty kinky, huh?
The magic change eventually started to dissolve into like a bluish goo. And the glue loses potency and the salt pillar falls apart.
Yeah. Temporal effects.
Okay.
Are there any other enemies approaching us after all the ruckus?
Not that you see.
Well, that is 4 followers at the very least out of 11 plus.
Yep.
I help her up, and then we go to investigate the corpses while being on the lookout out specifically for anybody else trying
So
to
the
kill
elves
us.
don't have any particular value on them. They just have like equipment that if you were to carry it, it's like just not worth your time.
I know, but what was in the bag with the bombs?
You find a whole slew of ingredients. You have no idea how any of them work, because you're not an alchemist. If you were an alchemist, you might have been able to figure it out, but...
Yeah, what about the sorcerer? I would imagine she has at least some experience with alchemy.
The sorcerer just kind of shrugs. Like, alchemy is very different from sorcery.
Fair enough, then I suppose we'll just leave it where it is.
She does, however, take like the formula book, because she knows that stuff's worth money. And they also find like, let's just say around 1,000 gold's worth of assorted knickknacks.
That's fair enough.
Oh, wait, there's also a couple of potions, because they are an alchemist.
Mhm.
So they have this, and they also have 2 thunderstones. Which, in case you want to know what a thunderstone does, here's a link to a description. Oh no, that's the wrong one.
It is, I think.
Why does it link me to that? That one's
It does link to the Thunderstone, I think.
My God, this wiki sometimes is just freaking annoying.
I know.
Thunderstone. Okay, the way it works is you hit a space within 20 feet, or has a range increment of 20 feet. Then a 10-foot radius spread. Everything makes a DC 15 Fortitude saves or becomes deafened.
Oh, so it's right.
It's a really loud stone.
Yeah, and it's probably going to be worse in the caves, considering the echo and everything.
It would have like twice the range, yes.
Yes. Can you imagine a ninja, and he confuses the smoke bomb with that, just rubs it under his feet.
Okay. So you're gonna check the sorcerer out as well?
Yes.
So the
He's
sorcerer...
stuck in the glue and dead. Well, he's unconscious.
No. You killed him, like he bled to death.
Well, he fell unconscious. It's just that we didn't make it in time. He just bled to death. Okay.
That's essentially he fell unconscious before he bled to death. Is how that worked. He doesn't have much on him because, from the best you can guess, he's a sorcerer because he doesn't have a spellbook with him.
Hmm.
Um, he has like a collection of doll heads in his pockets for some reason. Um, you don't know what they're for.
Dull heads.
Doll heads, like doll's heads, just like chopped
Yeah,
right
yeah,
off the
yeah.
body.
Yes. What a weird bunch of people.
Mm-hmm. That's
Did we see anything like that on the other guy?
no, he just had like things you would expect an alchemist to carry, like his formula
Hmm.
book and some potions.
Any spells in his spell book that our
Sorcerers
sorcerer can use?
don't carry spellbooks, and deciphering so the problem with alchemist formula is they work one way. You can take a wizard spellbook and teach an alchemist formulas, but you cannot take a formula spellbook and teach someone spells.
I see. What about the gnome that we killed?
The gnome has not much on them. They had like some basic weaponry on them, but it's not like worth your time.
I see. So they clearly weren't exactly packing for the travel. So they've been settled in.
Hmm.
Hmm.
We found like 1,000 gold pieces in total of like stuff. So
1,000 GPs, yeah. So let me just account for that. We've spent 1,500, so that's back to 5,450. There we go. Okay. Well, we've blown our cover
yep,
completely. I might as
sure
well, I
did.
suppose, head over here.
You head over to the central town square, where you see a statue in the center, which looks like it's made almost entirely out of diamond. Surrounding it, you see a mass of people that look more than ready to start beating someone down.
Oh,
It's like a bunch of humans and an elf, like two elves actually, and the elves look more wizardly because they got fancy hats.
I see. Do the numbers match the information that we got of 11
You get the
followers?
feeling that if there were any cultists left, these are the guys.
So they all assembled in the middle.
Yep.
Hmm.
There's a lot of them.
Is the statue a kobold?
The statue is not a kobold.
Oh, what is it then?
You don't quite know. You've never quite
Is
seen
it
this
a
species before.
is it a person or is it like a dragon or something?
It's not a human.
Hmm.
In
But it
total,
is made of diamond, so if we had
it looks
any
like it's made of diamond. It's got that diamond
yeah,
shine to it.
yeah, well, if we had a scion, I would imagine we would be able to use the laser sight laser beam to shoot the thing and just irradiate everything around it because we just reflect the beams out through all the facets and such. To go on.
In total, there are standing in this room around 7 people.
7 people. We killed 4,
Yes.
and that's 7.
Hmm.
Seems to check out, but no gargoyles.
Nope, not by the looks of it.
Are they immediately hostile?
They don't notice you yet.
Oh, but they're ready to beat us up though.
They are ready to start fighting if it comes down to it.
Well, it would be a senseless waste of life, honestly.
Sure.
Let me see. There might be. Does the Stormfeather know a spell that allows her to project the voice? The
Something
cantrip.
like ghost sound.
Ghost sound or like wizard mouth or something like that.
Maybe.
Like there's a mage hand and I think there's also the mage
What's your
mouth.
plan?
Either distract them or at the very least communicate with them from a distance without them just trying to kill us.
What do you hope to? What is? Oh man, this is so freaking weird.
Well, at the very least, I'm gonna get them monologuing, and revealing their plans. I mean, I've been planning to take at least one of them alive, but unfortunately, we've just decked all of them.
Yep. Okay. Well, um, You can just shout at them like you're in the darkness. They can't see you.
Okay. Well, are there any light source, considering they're all elves and humans without any, dark vision, probably. Do they have any light sources around them?
There's lots of light sources around. There's again like those floating lights that the elves made.
I see. In which case, we can probably stay pretty well hidden.
Yep.
And the echo will allow us to do whatever. Well, in which case, let me see if I can try this. Well, I do have pretty decent intimidate. So I'd like to inform them that your friends are dead, and we will be coming for you, so you'd better talk. What are you doing here? Do I roll
me
for that,
intimidate.
or is it
Roll
just...
intimidate.
Yep. Clickety-click.
They
Ooh,
don't care. They're with 7, and they are awfully confident of themselves.
they're confident of the sounds. Well, considering they still have the gargoyles, I would imagine.
Wherever the gargoyle is.
Whatever they are. Well, I mean, considering these bastards usually, sit in the buildings, they're probably lining the buildings. So it would be unwise to just approach them. If we had any of the bombs left, we could probably just toss them in.
Well, you can't make the bombs. They're just like raw materials that you're
Wait,
not
so he
able to.
was making them on the fly?
Yep, that's how alchemists work.
Oh, that is
I know.
fascinating.
It's mechanically strange.
It is.
Well, narratively strange, mechanically sound.
Well, yes, it's just like, oh, hey, I make a bomb in 6 seconds and I toss it.
So, I'm going to roll an intimidate check against you now.
Okay,
Because a
if we are
loud,
scared.
thundering voice is kind of telling you to fuck off. Let's see.
That is probably the deity that they're talking about.
So let's see. What would yours be? It'd be 10 plus your level, which is that, plus your wisdom modifier, which is that. You are shaken
Uh-oh.
from the
Wow.
voice, which means you take -2 on attacks, saves, skill checks, and ability checks.
Yep. -2 to everything.
And it
For shame.
commands that you show yourself and accept your punishment.
Hmm. That's interesting. Well, I mean, I'm probably reading too much into this or not reading enough. But clearly it's just somebody trying to intimidate us, not like a god or something. Was it one of them talking?
Nope. None of them seem to talk.
Was that the statue?
Nope. Not that you could tell. The statue didn't move, at least.
Damn. What does Stormfeather think about this?
Stormfeather does not have experience with these kinds of situations. She's usually part of a team when taking care of a situation like this.
Well, technically they are a team. Wink, wink.
Stormfeather has Fireball, so...
Yep. Well...
She could try to do some meta magic and give the Fireball a little extra oomph.
For the mythic feats or something for spending mythical energy?
Meta magic, my friend. Meta magic feats you can use to make spells slightly stronger.
Okay, fair enough.
Although, no, she can't do that with Fireball because it's... But still, it's like a 20-foot radius spread, so it's 40 feet across.
Yeah, well, what I've been meaning to do is to actually show myself and then have her attack them from another direction with a fireball.
Oh, okay.
Well, in which case, I will instruct her to do this. And walk out with my hands held up, I'd imagine.
You walk out with your hands up, with your hands up, with your hands up.
Yes. I'm reaching for the sky, which cannot be seen in this environment.
So you instantly notice that they're all prepping spells and like taking aim at you.
Mm-hmm.
What's your plan?
Well, my plan was for her to circle around them and attack them at a moment when they least expect.
Okay, well with that assumption, she's already like circled around at this point,
Yes.
and she is behind them. So they're all
Mm-hmm.
looking away. They don't even notice like she quietly casts her spell and then walks out and then fires it, which means I get to roll a bunch of d6s.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how many does she get? I think she gets like she's level what? Again, let me just double check her level. Level
She's
6.
probably level 6, is the same as I. Yeah.
So that would be 86
On everyone in range?
on everyone in range. There's a reason people like Fireball.
Yeah.
That reason is it fucks with everyone, especially if you add 2 caster levels. It's another 2d6. She uses her Wild Arcana to buff it up a bit. I need to know the DC on this, because people can take half damage if they pass it. The DC would be 18. Okie dokie. Okay, if they don't make it, they're dead. Is what's going on here. They don't make it, so the
Wait, are
one
you rolling the one thing for everybody or?
I'm rolling several for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
They don't make it, and they make it. Okay, so 2 fighters are basically ignited and just fall over dead, burned to a ripe crisp.
What about
The
the mages?
cleric also burns up into a crisp. So they can,
Ouch.
yeah, freaking fireball, man! It's a crowd clearer. The
How many of those does she get per right now?
I,
One, I think, or three casts?
I think she gets 3 casts of Wild Arcana, and she gets 4 spells per day of level 3.
Fair enough.
So that's what sorcerers do, man. They shoot people with fireballs.
Yep.
The mage makes it. The mage makes it.
Mm-hmm.
And the blood mage makes it. So they only take half. So they're pretty good off. They still have enough health to fight.
They only get like half damage, right?
Yep.
All right.
Okay. So that's all set up.
Yes.
This one is left at like 1. So the fighter. But with that, the stranger has spent their turn. Is on the other side of the battlefield.
Yep.
Putting the round in your
Oh, wait.
hands.
Yes. Well, there's only one cleric, so I would have to prioritize them
No, the
so they
cleric's
don't
gone.
heal everybody out. Oh, wait, they died?
Yeah, they didn't make their save, and they.
Then there is two mages, the two sorcerers, right?
There's 3 people that look like mages.
That look like mages. Okay, well, I'm gonna charge the closest one, and I'm just gonna stab him with a spear,
Mm-hmm.
which would be
Okay, you're attacking that one in specific.
bam. I would imagine the spear doesn't really do any different type of damage, any more damage because it's made out of
Yeah.
adamantine. It's just the
No,
material.
no, it just hurts just as much. It only really
Yeah,
comes into play if you're sundering something or trying to break items.
I see.
They're still standing on their feet. The goon decides to charge in on you.
The one with 1 hit point,
The one with 1 hit point.
is he
Loyalty,
flanking?
man. Actually, yes. Why doesn't he just flank you? Because then he not just hits, despite your high AC, but also gets
Yep.
another 1d6 for sneak attack.
Yes.
Oh, actually, no, that's a 1d4. Okay. Let me check this out. That's 6 plus 2, so you take 8 points of damage as they shank you in the back.
8 points, so that's down to 50. Okay.
Could be worse. The mage's
Could have
turn
been
has
worse,
come.
yes.
The mages kind of clear space. They kind of just walk back a bit. And they're going to do something pretty nasty. What's your touch AC again?
15, last I checked. Let me double check myself.
That's 1 hit, and that's 2 hits.
Defenses, touch AC is 15, yes.
That's 8, 11, 16. Okay, 17 plus 16. That's 33 if I'm correct. You take 33 points of damage as you are hit with 2 rays of searing light burning into you.
Yes, and I am left with 17 hit points.
The mage in front of you takes a step back and starts waving its hands, and the
Yeah,
nearby
well,
statues are slowly starting to come to life.
the kobolds?
The kobold statues are, for some reason, coming to life.
Holy crap.
The
It's the ash
gargoyle
monsters once again.
does nothing this turn. The stranger does what she does best and walks in for the kill, taking out her 2 pistoleros. Pew, 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 pew. Also known as the heck, heck, heck attack. The guy who was just conjuring suddenly falls over dead, and the statues fall to the ground in awkward poses as they were half animated. The other mage standing close to her also takes sufficient damage to fall over dead, and that's kind of it. She sort of blows her guns all fancy like, feeling good about herself.
Yep.
Killing people is what she does best. That's why she was.
You don't say.
Eka, it's your turn.
Heck, it's my turn, yeah. Well, I don't want to proc an attack of opportunity in my already pretty poor state, so I'm just gonna deck the dude with an elbow in the face.
You're
Or
going
the
in
lady.
for a finishing touch.
For a finishing touch, yes, I would at least try to keep them alive, you know. If I
Okay,
can't save the
okay.
mage, then I'm gonna try. This dude has 1 hit point left or something.
Yes, just roll.
Just an attack?
Yes. Okay. You thwap him
I
on the head and knock him unconscious.
just break his face. Oof. And that, I assume, concludes my turn then.
Yes.
There's only 1 person left.
The mage, now aware that there is another mage around, sort of swoops their finger and points at her for a touch attack. And puts a little extra zest into this one. Is that enough? What is there? Oh wow, that actually misses. That's impressive. Yeah, no, that's a just hit. That is a just hit. No, my dice.
What happened? Did it fall off
46
the
for
table
you.
or something?
Yeah, they fell from the table. That's 15 damage. So a streak of light burns through the sky, or the cave, I guess. Strikes the bird, lights some of her feathers on fire, and singes her.
Oh no.
She holds strong. So, remember that statue in the center of the room?
Yes.
Guess
The
what it
diamond statue.
is?
Is it a gargoyle?
How did you know?
Because it's technically a gem.
Yep. So it.
How many did we see, by the way?
Hmm?
How many gargoyles were reported?
One. Only one.
Hmm.
The gargoyle steps off of its pedestal and holds up its hand, and all the statues start moving in on you again.
Oh, god damn it.
The stranger, sad enough, and just goes in for a full charge. Make it count with that katana. Oh heck. Oh heck. Luckily, oh wait, that only second hit hits. Okay. The mage, however, is now preoccupied because there's a sword sticking in his, like, side. It sort of slides it out. Brutal, I know. Eka, it's your turn.
How hard? Well, there's a bunch of statues all around me. When they will reach my position?
They will reach your position on the gargoyle's next turn.
I see. Quick question. Can gem gargoyles fly, or are they just statues?
They can fly.
Hmm. Well, my escape plan probably wouldn't work. I've been meaning to use the dragon transformation to actually get out of reach, if at all possible. But I guess this thing is just gonna fly again and just follow me. Well, with this guy out of commission right behind me, I'm gonna try and use my adamantine bullets to hit it while I still can. So move as far as possible from the statues in the directions, probably just down the street.
Mm-hmm.
like so.
Roll
And
me a reflex check.
oh, is the guy
Roll
waking
me a
up and
reflex
trying
check.
to catch me? Yes, 1 second. No, I'm not questioning the stuff. I'm just as I'm going through the stuff, through the tabs. I'd like to ask some
So
questions.
the statues around you are grabbing at you, and one of them almost grabs your ankle, but you manage to just sort of whoop out of the way just before it does so.
Ouch.
Could have hit your face on the ground if that happened.
Yeah, that would have been horrible. And I would like to use my adamantine bullets now on this thing.
Shoot. Solid hit, just shattering parts of shattering its wing, and basically rendering it unable to fly.
I should have told you, yes, specifically to aim for the wings.
The nearby mage goes in for the rapier and rolls a critical.
Just impales the bird. Oh my god, this is a spit roast.
Bird gets hit for 6 damage as the
That's not.
rapier swings, like this mage is awkwardly swinging around and somehow gets a good stab in into the side, going all the way through. Did you say something, Komo?
Yes, I thought. Yeah, I thought the that would be a little bit more dangerous, but yes, he's awkwardly just stabbing around.
Another
It's
reflex check
interesting
from
that
Komo, please. What's interesting?
it's interesting that mages are using weapons that are not exactly like mage weapons, not something that a mage would like carry on the side,
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting. Anyway, what do I need to do? The reflex
Reflex
check
check.
again.
More hands are groping
Reflex.
at you. You manage to stay out of their hands, but it's getting difficult. They're surrounding you at this point.
Yeah, I have to fly out.
The gargoyle, having partially spent its turn doing this action, turns its attention to the bird and just kind of walks over.
Oh god damn it!
It's not attacking quite yet.
Why is there a yellow outline?
A what?
There was a yellow outline around the stranger.
I don't know. Nothing happened on my end.
Mm.
Stranger's turn to move. Gonna finish off this mage because that one's gonna be a problem. Jeepers creepers, man. Still not killing that mage as they get locked in sword fighting.
Damn it!
Yep.
I'll have to swoop in.
Eka, can I get another reflex save?
Yes. Anything for you, sir? Oh no.
Yeah. At this point, they grab onto you. You are now pinned in place, and they are starting to pile up on you
Damn.
and pulling you
I
to the
mean,
ground.
under other conditions, a bunch of goblins pulling me down would probably be a little bit more pleasant. But yes.
They're going to entomb you or something like that. You're not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. The either way is gonna be nasty.
Okay. So what are you gonna do? You can still take your action because you're not quite there yet.
Yeah. Well, what I've been thinking is to use the transformation, use the extra strength to pull myself out, and then sweep in to grab the bird and toss her on the roof of the building, or they
Okay.
would be out of
Well, you can
reach.
make your transformation and try to pull 3 with strength. So.
Yes, so that would be +4.
Mm-hmm.
I assume. Do I modify it here, or do I just roll and then we
Just
just
roll
add
and I'll add
+4?
it.
Okay.
That is enough to pull free. However, that is also your entire turn.
Yep.
The mage goes in for a swing, but if it's not a critical, he's probably not going to hit. It's another critical! Wow! And that's a critical that hits twice.
It's going to be a death of 1,000 needles.
Yes, essentially. 7 more points of damage for the bird. They're not looking too hot. They're going to have to pull out the big ace up their sleeve if they want to make it out of this one alive.
Yep. What about the statue?
Well, you start to notice that the statues around her are starting to come to life as well.
Oh, well.
But she's way too distracted by this melee hand-to-hand. This gargoyle just sort of stands there, overlooks the situation.
That is not very proactive. Why is it doing that?
Because it's winning.
Oh,
You're about to get
yeah.
you're not in the best of place, and the bird's not in the best of places. He can probably just tear her apart in a single claw if he really wanted to.
Yep.
If you're gonna judge him, he's gonna do it anyway. The stranger does have an ace up her sleeve, which is her mythic power. She surges with blue, sparkling energy.
Holy crap.
Cuts this guy apart with one big slash.
This guy's mincemeat.
Then turns her attention for another attack. And cuts the large gargoyle. Oh, that's way too many points. There we go. However, the gargoyle has delayed its turn for this specific purpose, and once it is hit, suddenly swipes with its claw back at her.
Oh, damn it.
It misses. As she kind of saw it coming. Eka, make your move.
Yes. Am I transformed?
Roll me a reflex save. You're a much more easy to grab target now that you have dragon wings.
Yep.
You are able to escape being grabbed.
Okay. In which case, now I need to make the fly thing, a fly roll to swoop in and pull her out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, or crash into her and die horribly. Let's see how it goes.
You make it. What do?
Grab her, sort of kind of fly up, then dive in, grab her, push off from the ground, and plop her in the nearest building and land there myself, because none of these things can reach us here, and we do have weapons to reach the gargoyle.
She lands on top of a nearby building.
Yep.
And she seems fine. She's on the building now. The gargoyle turns its attention to you then. And
Yeah.
decides that it's going to go to town on you.
Am I with her on the building, or am I still on the ground?
Where do you want to? Where would you consider yourself to be?
Well, since I grabbed her, I would imagine I just push off and jump on top of the building with the help of the wings.
Okay, then you're on top of the building. The gargoyle walks over, and he's pretty tall. And these are cobalt buildings, so they're not that high.
Yep.
His hands reach around. You get an attack of opportunity because he's trying to climb up in your range.
It's just one attack?
One attack.
One attack. Let's see what the best I can do.
A lot of double-digit damage getting thrown around here.
That's just 10. Attack of opportunity. Well, I would imagine it would be the claws.
Go for it.
Which is 1d6, right?
Mm-hmm. Roll me your
Oh,
attack.
I actually have the weapon wrecked that, yeah. I just stab it in the face, but I miss. It just glances off the diamond surface.
It just glances right off. And with that, it comes up and it swipes at you with its mighty claws, giving you, each of you, a nice big swipe. It misses, and it hits the bird for 1d6 plus 4.
Holy crap.
9 damage.
No.
Bird is not looking hot. The next big flurry is
It's gonna be the death of her.
the stranger stumbles back, looking at herself, takes another standard action to quickly exchange weapons, focuses herself, and goes. And that is 3 hits. The creature is on its last leg. It's still holding on, but it's like in shambles, is the best way to describe it. Make your finishing blow, Eka.
Yeah, well, I've been thinking of finishing it with a breath weapon, but I can't imagine what kind of resistance this will have. Is it resistant to fire?
It is actually resistant to electricity.
But not fire.
And only 10 points of damage, so.
But not fire. Well,
no.
In which case I'm gonna scream it apart and burn it to singes. Well, I guess it will melt glass.
If it's made out of diamond, it's going to ignite. It's all carbon.
Fair. I'm not entirely sure the diamonds can burn though, but let's see. Class features. I'm gonna need to do some more research on that. But yes, that's the second one for today, and the last one, I suppose. Bah! Just yell at it and scream it to pieces.
Oh, wow. The temperature of diamond ignition is 690 degrees Celsius to 840 degrees Celsius.
Thanks for looking it up, by the way.
So yes, they can ignite.
So I'm gonna burn it to singes
And
by yelling
that's
it
by the way
really
is
loud.
that by the way is in contact with pure oxygen, so probably takes a little bit more than most circumstances. But yes, you breathe fire at it, and your red hot beam. As you do it, for
Bah!
one, you start to notice that more of your scales are turning to a brass-like coloration. But you also notice that the
Yes.
creature is falling dead on the ground and sort of just shatters on impact, and all the
Yes.
statues turn to dust.
Whoa. All right. So they can control the statues.
They've demonstrated this at least twice.
Yes.
But with that, it is now eerily silent, and the bird is just like,
I still have spells, so as she's distracted, I'm gonna slap her in the face with a healing spell. This is gonna be a running gag. I just kind of slap her.
are you going to use Inspired Spell to add two caster levels or something?
Sure, why not? We'll probably need a good rest after this, so all the abilities will be refreshed.
Yep.
So that would be Cure Moderate Wounds with at level 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let me cast that. Click. That's not much.
It's +8, so it's like +17. Yeah, she feels a lot better about herself now. She still like sniffles a bit because, dear God, did she get into a lot of pain today? But you know,
She got choked, slammed in the wall, stabbed by a rapier multiple times. And what was it again?
Claude,
And clawed.
you get in a lot of trouble, don't you?
Is she commenting to me?
Yes, she's just like you really know how to get your friends into big trouble.
Well, yeah, you know, it's very dangerous to be my friend. Wink,
Anyway,
wink, nudge, nudge.
she just kind of
Yes.
lowers herself down from the building. She's holding her side. Like healing magic can only do so much before the pain is just more than to handle.
Yeah.
She's like, I think I
And
might join Tisek B at this rate.
yeah. Um, yeah. Might as well build a collection of friends on the ship that waited out.
she she starts looking through. She takes a spell book out of the necromancer's pocket. The guy who was animating the statues.
Mhm.
The other guy, she finds a potion of
Wait,
cure.
so it was the mage?
Yeah, with another guy, she finds a potion of cure moderate wounds and just chugs it, giving no attention to you about this.
Well, gee, thanks. I mean, I'm technically a dragon, so yeah.
You'll be fine. She's
I'll
just
be, I'll
like,
be.
man, I'm just, this is not a great day. She finds there's a lot of like stuff, a lot of like random stuff that you can't really use.
Mhm.
Um, that amounts to a lot because these guys were relative, like they had some pretty nice stuff on them. I'd say in total, you could easily find like 5,000 gold pieces worth of like random equipment and assorted scrolls and stuff.
Is there anything of use to us in particular?
Let me double check.
Mhm.
There's two more potions of cure light wounds if you wish those. Um, oh, I
I'm
think
gonna
you
need
might like
double
this one.
potions for this and just chug them.
Do you know the spell Death Knell?
Def now, like with a K?
Yes.
I don't think I do.
Because you find like two of those scrolls in the cleric.
Let me open up the link and check that. Loading. D20P FSRD is deciding to be slow today again.
It sometimes just does that.
Yeah. You draw forth the ebbing life force of the creature and use it to fuel your own power. Upon casting this spell, you touch a living creature that has -1 of fewer hit points. If the subject fails its saving throw, it dies and you gain temporary hit points. Neat. But it is an evil spell. I will only be using that on enemies.
You also find a few more interesting items that you might
Mm-hmm.
wish to have. Oh no, wait, we're using the automatic bonus progression, right? Okay, then we can't.
Yes.
Then I need to scrap those off the list real fast.
It's fine.
Just add another 1,000 to the stuff you find because we can't use those.
Okay, so we found 5,000. That would be 6,000. And it
Yes.
amounts to, holy crap. I don't even know how I can carry this much gold at
It's
this
a
point.
random stuff you'll probably can get like a bag of holding at this point. Well, actually, one of them had a bag of holding, so you got one of those.
Okay, so that's 10 up to 10,000 gold pieces. Damn.
You now have a bag of holding too, so you can carry more stuff. One item that you do find, which is very interesting, is the thing that the stone animating guy was wearing. It
Yeah,
is a ring that when you wear it, you can sort of give life to stone. You know how they speak with animals and like spells that awaken animals and give them intelligence? With this, you can
yeah.
basically talk to a random rock. It needs to be natural stone, though.
I can have. What do you mean natural stone? It can't be like etched something,
No, because would essentially kill it, quote unquote. But like if you find a rock in nature, you could talk to it.
and it kills the rock.
No, you can just talk to it. It would just
So I can
answer.
have a pet rock.
It would answer questions that if it was a living thing that was alive for a couple of years or so.
Wow. Well, at the very least, if any of the statues are alive, we could use that.
You get the feeling that the statues were more like made than that they were like petrified individuals.
Yeah, that's what I meant. But they probably all fell apart now.
Yeah.
That is sad. Okay, then I'm gonna use just one spell potion because I'm knocking on death's door, and keep the other one just in case.
hmm
How much damage does it heal?
What kind of potion are you using?
The one that we found two moderate cure moderate wounds, I
That's
think.
2d6 plus 2d8 plus 5.
2d8 plus 5. 13. Oh, I rolled pretty poorly, but I suppose the ones were too bad. So that's 13, and I'm back to 30 hit points. That's about half.
Okay. So as the noise died down, you see a small little kobold who has like very light equipment, like leather armor, a little spear, sort of a
Mhm.
scout-like figure, and he sort of goes, "Hey!" And he waves up
I
at
was
you
just I'm just gonna match him and say hey as well in the same intonation and inflection, and just kind of give him a little pat pat. I
from
can't
the
help it.
roof.
Well, we probably both went down and started looting the stuff, so
Yeah, okay, that's true. Wow, you did it.
yeah. Was there any doubt?
Well, some
As
people
I
bet
strike
against
a
you.
heroic pose. Sorry?
Some people bet against you, so.
Well, I guess somebody won a bunch of money, huh?
Well, you should probably
I
go
mean,
see.
I should have betted against myself lost and just went away to cash in.
Well, you should probably see the big man then.
He's not very big, but I will.
Okay. So you're gonna leave the place? You done here, or you still want to interrogate the guy?
Uh, well, we still have one person, so we probably would bring them up to the just drag him by the leg to the kobold camp.
The king, for one, immediately asks, "What the hell is he supposed to do with that?"
Well, this is one of the guys. If you would like to interrogate them, please go ahead.
He
I
waves
would
his hand,
be,
and a couple of kobolds just drag him off to the cage where they probably keep the whoever was carrying the bag to.
yep.
And he notices that you kind of like look beat up, like your equipment could use some repairs and all. Could use some.
Sorry, say again?
You look like you look damaged. He notices like the
Yes.
battle damage and all, so he's like, "You fought hard, didn't you?"
Could have been harder, but yes, we did.
Well, everyone's alive. Everything's fine.
Well, alive in a sense that all the statues of the kobolds that were turned to stone have crumbled.
What do you mean turn to stone? Everyone's here.
When we've been in the settlement, we have seen a lot of statues of kobolds turned to stone.
Yeah, they're
They
creepy,
were,
aren't they?
yes, and they were animated by one of the mages, or the gargoyle was still
Creepy.
creepy. Do you know anything about that? You just told me that everybody made it safely.
Yeah.
Where did those come from?
Well, if they can animate stone, they can make stone, can't they?
Why would they take the time to make kobold statues out of stone?
Because it's scary.
So
That
they weren't expecting
and
anyone
didn't they like
aside
do?
from.
Did they? What did they do? Because the last time I asked, they started grabbing people.
That's what they did, yes.
Yeah. So not exactly a bad plan, huh?
Tiny statues, hard to hit, I suppose. Wait, did you create them
No.
as a defense mechanism? No?
Why would I make statues? I've got kobolds.
Oh yeah, good point. So what? So the people who invaded the settlement have specifically created statues in the form of kobolds.
Apparently.
I guess I'll have to ask the guy why.
He's already in the jail. So.
Sorry?
He's already in the
He's already in
jail.
the jail. What?
The guy that you took back, like, they took him away instantly.
Yes.
Because he doesn't want to stand
Well,
next to an unconscious guy the whole time.
well, yeah. So I assume we could be able to.
No.
We would be able to. Okay, fair enough.
You're not in charge of that.
Okay.
I do feel that I owe you something. More than just what you want. Because that must not have been easy. He kind of sits there and thinks. Like, he literally just sits down. He's like, not even. Like, he seems to forget that you're there because he kind of assumed you'd walk away after a little while. So.
Is it like a dramatic pause or something?
No, he just kind of. He sits down on a rock and, like, puts his head on his fist. Like, his chin on his fist and his other hand in his side. Like, he's like Robin the Thinker, going like, hmm. 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 Because he really does feel like he owes you something.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you've wanted? Like a spear or a trinket?
Hmm. Well, now I am gonna pull up right next to him in the same pose because yeah, I got to think about
Just say
this.
the
Well, I
first thing
mean,
that comes to mind.
this is not a good idea, you know. This is really not a good idea.
I'm not granting a wish. I'm just getting some
I
inspiration.
know. I know. Well, plenty of gold, so that's not an issue at all. We do have our well, aside from the repairs, I suppose. What could we realistically wish for from a kobold? I mean, we want the stone
Hmm.
from the cult. Does the stranger have anything in mind?
Well, the kobold stands up after a bit, and
Hmm.
he waves one of his servants over, and they soon return with something, and he hands you a stone. It looks like it has a little button on it.
I'm not gonna press the button because this is schmuck bait. I'm gonna politely ask, what is the stone and what does the button do?
It's a bomb. It's a bomb rock. You push the button and throw it, and it explodes, and then you take the stone back.
Do I count to three?
It explodes on impact, or whatever rapid deceleration means.
I see. And it returns after that?
The stone is just whole. Like, it can be used once per day essentially.
Oh, so it's sort of like a trinket that is rechargeable. Okay, fair enough. That is it possible to see what kind of damage it will do?
Hmm?
Fire or piercing, or does it like
Um,
rupture in
well,
shrapnel?
he actually shows you that there's a way to make it do either fire or piercing damage. Like, it either explodes into a shower of sharp rocks or
Hmm.
into a shower of fire.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Could have used the shower of fire because I'm cold as balls.
The stone feels warm to the touch, so you can probably tuck it under your shirt somewhere.
Nice. Just put it in a pocket. I'm probably carrying tail bags. Remember those?
Yeah, on the butt.
Yep, on the tail. So I'm just gonna toss it there, and now I have a warm butt.
Hilarious.
Yep. Many things. Do we get the stone? The
He
summoning
hands you
stone?
the stone, which is So before the stone you think you had was like just a ball. This one actually has like a little holder that's like a dragon wrapped around it. The holder seems, shall we say, non-functional and just decorative.
Just decorative.
Yes.
Is it the same kind of see-through for miles thing?
Yes.
Does it actually show anything, or is it just like swirling depths of something?
It's like you're looking at X-rays going straight through the planet into the endless cosmos. This one is
Holy
blue.
crap. What was the color of the previous one?
Red.
I see. So the free stones, I would imagine.
Do you
So I would
grab
imagine
onto
that
the
would be
orb
three
or to
stone.
the decoration?
Just in decoration. I don't want to grab the stone itself. I mean, wait, no. We have handled the stone before.
Mm-hmm.
We did touch it just fine, without any trouble. I mean, you asked me, so now I'm thinking. But we did manage to hold it before. Is it wrapped into the same kind of cloth?
No, this one's just the orb, and he's holding it out for you.
Is he holding it safely?
He doesn't seem to care how he holds it.
Okay, then I'll just accept it. I'll hold it with both hands.
You grab on.
One hand on it, one hand on the handle, and the other one on the orb.
The orb feels like a flowing ocean to your hand.
It feels like liquid, or
It feels like you're just holding solid liquid.
huh?
And as you hold onto it, you feel the sudden urge to make a large hoard.
A large what?
Hoard of treasure.
Oh, well, that would be the most fascinating thing, yes.
Indeed.
Uh, in character, I'm just gonna go pat all over myself, all the pockets, see if my gold is still with me.
No one has stolen anything from you recently, although you feel more acutely aware of its presence.
Yeah, I can probably sniff it out.
The stranger just kind of looks at you and goes, "Okay, you okay
Okay.
there?"
I'd like to think I am, yes.
Okay. Gives a little thumbs up.
Well, I'm not gonna try and rob this dude, so yes, I'm gonna try to keep myself in check.
Hehe.
There was a neat old cartoon in the USSR that had a young man go and kill the dragon, and then as he kills the dragon, he turns into a dragon himself, replacing the dude that he killed, which was like a perpetual cycle.
Sounds like Dragon's Dogma.
Yep. It was neat,
Indeed.
but also kind of terrifying. So, yes.
Yeah, it's usually spooky dragons.
They're pretty, yeah.
Instead of the kind you'd want to be. The big cuddly ones with a big belly.
I'm sorry, what?
It's always spooky dragon instead of like one that's just
Yes.
got like a cute belly.
Yes. Well, at the very least, I mean, if I have any control over that, I'm gonna try to be the that type,
Mm-hmm.
not the evil burn down your village.
Every year they must pay you tribute in smooches.
Eh, that's fair. That is fair. That is fair. I mean, who cares about princesses or princes or whatever? Just give me some good nums.
Give me a nice chocolate cake and some Netflix, and
Yeah,
you'll
I
be
mean,
fine.
it's a good deal. It's like, hey guys, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I would like a cake with a little cherry on top.
I mean, the dragon one town over, they'll ask you for your unborn daughter, but look at me, I'm just asking for some Netflix. Aren't I
Yes.
progressive?
Yes. Uh, this is funny. Thanks. That cheered me up. That cheered me up real
Yay.
good. Thanks.
So,
I would imagine it would be just ridiculous. Everybody's like super serious about this new utopia, and there's this one that's just like, let's have some cake.
however,
And the tea
before
party.
you can walk
Yes.
away from this guy, he does like say that you must solemnly swear that you
I'm
do
sorry,
not
you're cutting out. Could you
the
repeat the last
the
sentence?
kobold makes you solemnly swear that you are not going to give that orb to anyone that wants to bring Martivir back, or he will come and find you.
Sure. I mean, what else is he gonna do?
Well, he does tell you that like the only people that think Martivir is a good guy are those poor city slicking kobolds who left behind the old ways.
Yeah. Which means I'll be opposing the entire Kobold army. At the very least, however, at least I'm gonna attempt to fix this.
Good.
Yes.
Do you know how these orbs work, by the way?
I do not, and I've been thinking that I probably shouldn't, but do go ahead and tell
Why
me.
should you not?
So that nobody could catch me, interrogate me, and find the secret of how to use them.
Hmm. Well,
But, considering we kicked the ass of these guys, it's probably pretty safe with me.
the legends go that if you place 5 such orbs in a circle and summon something with it, instead of summoning what you intended to summon, you bring forth Martivir instead, as he hijacks the whole summoning grid.
So the solution for this is to never keep the stones together.
Yup.
Fair enough. As long as we hold on to at least one of these, they won't be able to do anything.
Unless there's more than just 5.
Unless there's more that... What do you mean with there's more than just 5?
Well, I mean, who's to say they don't have 6, and you only need 5 to do it?
Is there any truth to this, or are you pulling my leg?
The Kobold doesn't know. They just know that they exist and that there are at least 5.
There are
Like,
at
there's
least
a lot of
5.
Kobold scholars that have speculated that, like, some assistants or like helpers of Martivir tried to create the orb specifically to summon him or something, but it's all like hearsay and legends.
Well, in that case, we will spread them out in groups of 4. Well, it means safe. It's like you find 4 of them, and it's like, okay, now what? You'll have to
Well,
get at least 2 groups of people with that.
you could always destroy them.
Hmm. Why didn't you destroy them?
Because you can't just smash them with a hammer.
Okay, that's fair enough. What would include the destruction? What would
Uh,
involve the destruction of the orb like that?
um,
I would imagine he's knowledgeable in this. Actually, to hell with this. I'm just gonna sit down with a dude and I'm just gonna listen to him tell me everything he knows about this. Because first of all, this is history and this is fascinating, and secondly, because it's directly relevant to what we're doing. So the stranger is welcome to sit with us and like drink tea or whatever the kobolds drink.
I'm gonna look some things up to see
Okay.
because I'm pretty sure there's some. God damn it! There we go. Because I'm pretty sure I can find some good artifact destruction rules. Okay. So, the way you destroy such an orb is to find someone related to Martivir and have them breathe upon the orb. And then it explodes in a fiery rampage.
How fiery?
Let's say that about everything in a. He holds his hands out very far. 180 to 200 feet,
Everything just burns?
according to the power of the dragon that's sealed within the orb.
Well, I make sure not to breathe in the thing.
Mm-hmm. But
Wow,
yes.
but in the event that I'm actually like completely losing all of my pals or data or something, I'm just gonna do it. I don't care. I'm gonna destroy an orb, and I'm gonna take everybody with me.
Why would you be able to destroy an orb?
Mm. We've been in direct contact with occultists and such, and plus I have the power to turn to a brass dragon.
Why does that mean anything?
How would I explain it? Because Mortimer is a brass dragon as well.
Are you aligned with Martivir?
Mm-mm. Not
Then
that I know of.
you probably can't do anything.
Well, fair enough.
You need to be a relative or have some sort of connection to him.
But he has been gone for, assumingly, allegedly, I mean, thousands of years. How are we supposed to find a relative?
Well, most legends say that Mardivir never sired any children to begin with, so
So these are indestructible.
he shrugs. He doesn't know.
Fair enough. Well, it's going to be a very pathetic attempt if I try to blow it up. And it doesn't work. I mean, if it works, it's perfect. But if it doesn't work, yeah.
I don't know,
And it
man.
doesn't say anything about me being safe from the fire. So, I mean,
Yep.
200 feet of fire is just a
Well,
boom.
hope to God that your max HP is enough. It's basically Wraithguard from Morrowind.
Yeah, yeah. But if I'm dying, then it won't matter.
Not to mention, you need a pretty open field to do this.
What do you mean open field? I can't do this in an enclosed space?
Because it's 200 feet of explosion.
But it's probably going to go for walls and such. Or at least it's going to burst things out.
Anyway, he is cordial enough to invite you over to stay if you wish, right in
Sure, I
front of you.
suppose. Yeah. The houses are probably going to be very small, though, as they settle back in.
That's true. So you stay for the night. They have a simple meal because they still need to check all their storehouses and get all their things set up. You're allowed to stay in a nice set of quarters. It's pretty small, but luckily their beds are on the ground, so it doesn't matter too much.
Yep.
You wonder how the
How
hell the
did...
kobolds survive in this place because it feels so cold to you.
Well, yes, it does. I wonder how. Do they just, like, keep themselves up or wear warm clothes or something?
Maybe they don't care. Who knows?
Well, technically, kobolds are cold-blooded, right?
Yeah, but they're also known for living underground a whole bunch, so they've probably adapted.
They have
They
probably
are
adapted,
described
yes.
also as having a remarkably efficient metabolism and do not have to eat as much. So,
Hmm. Well, technically, so am I. Like, I specifically don't have to eat as much. Hmm.
but the
Well,
next,
it's cute, though. It's
but
cute, though, and it does show us that there is, at the very least, several different factions
hmm so
involved in all this.
what are you gonna do now that it's morning again? You get all your hit points back too. So
Oh, yeah, let me put that back. Oh, no, yeah, the next time we get to the battle thing. Well, we have the stone.
there is a button
I should put... Hmm?
next to your HP on your sheet that just sets your HP to max
On the sheet. Echo sheet open.
on your core page.
Mm-hmm.
At the bottom, there's a little heart, and
Oh,
underneath the
yeah, I
heart is
can
a
see it.
plus button.
Max. Boom. There we go. Thank you. I never knew this existed. This is neat.
Yay! So it's the next day. What are you gonna do? Make an excuse for Tisak Bree because he's like, "Where were you the whole day? We're just gonna check up on a customs office."
Oh, we got into a little bit of a trouble, actually, with the locals.
What did you
But
do?
the local kobold settlement has been invaded by outsiders, and we had to deal with those.
Hmm. Well, as long as we're all alive, I guess.
I'm sorry, you cut out.
As long as we're all alive, he just kind of sighs. It's like he can't
Yeah,
stop
here's
thinking.
a potion for you. I'm just gonna slide him a potion just in case.
Mm-hmm. So where to next, Captain?
Captain. We have one of the stones now, and we should probably head back to Mr. Don Esteban, or a leak, I
Okay.
suppose. So it would be another 2-day travel.
Yes.
Yes, another 2 days. Are we attacked by anyone, or are the pirates now wary of our ship exploding methods?
Not much happens along the way. And as you reach the city, you notice there's some fires deep in the city. Um,
Fires.
yeah, there's like smoke plumes coming out. It could be anything, really.
Is it, does it look regular, as in somebody's
No,
chimney,
the guards at the
or...
gate aren't panicking, so it's probably not that bad.
Well, as we pass by, I'm gonna ask them, what exactly are those?
Just
Or
some problems
something
in the lower
happened?
neighborhoods. They were, he just kind of looks real shifty for a moment. You know,
What,
barbecue
kobold
problems.
riots? barbecue.
Yes.
I just kind of scratch
It's an
my head.
Albany expression.
Yeah, I know, but I'm from Utica and I've never heard anybody say that. What? Can I sense motive on him? But I don't think I actually have this trait. Let me see.
Go for it.
I actually am trained, so.
Don't have to be trained to sense motive. Um, you can tell that he's like holding something. Like he's not telling you the full story, but at the same time, you feel it's not that important.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's probably like kobold riots or something.
Could be.
Yeah, well, we should probably head to the palace again.
You head to the palace. The guards let you through because they recognize you. And Mister
They better.
Dan Astroban is waiting on his fine chair. The.
Has the damage been repaired, by the way?
Yep. Or at least there's like scaffoldings all over the place.
Hmm.
Like magical repairs have been applied, but they're kind of worried that it might take some damage and fall over, so they're careful.
Yep.
So, you have returned.
Yes, and we have actually procured the stone.
Impressive. May I see it?
I pull it out of one of the bags, I suppose, and display it to him.
He beckons a servant to bring it closer to him, if you allow him. Because he's not getting out
Actually,
of
no.
stone.
I know. Well, actually, I'm not gonna allow it. I'm just gonna go closer and like I'm not giving it out apparently. So I'm just gonna approach him myself.
His guards stop you as you try to step up the steps that go to his throne, but he just sort of walks over, relenting and compromising, and takes a close look at that stone, and just goes, "Ooh, impressive. It's like looking
I
at
know,
the
right?
night sky."
Yes. And to me, it feels like I'm holding just solid water.
He kind of holds up a finger, goes poke. And he's like, "Ooh." Even without the
You just,
legend surrounding this item, I'd wish to acquire such a thing.
I'm sorry. What?
Well, he's basically like, "Oh man, even if this wasn't like a legendary artifact, it'd be pretty fucking sweet to own this."
Yeah. It's like it's super awesome to touch. Love it.
I wonder what happens if you shine light through it. It'd probably look really cool.
Well, considering it looks like an X-ray, you can probably like fashion a looking glass out of it, maybe. Light, you say? Well, I snap my fingers. I do have a light spell exactly for this.
Okay.
And
So
I mean, this is a cool thing to do, so I'd like to try to do that.
okay, so you hold a light spell against it, and it takes like a couple of seconds before the light spell emerges on the other side of the spell of the orb.
A couple seconds.
Yep.
So it contains an enormous amount of space inside of it, or the material of it means that light travels at a very slow speed inside that material. Blech.
Who knows?
Yes.
The nose knows. So what do you suggest we do with it? Do we destroy it? Is that even possible?
Destroying one would require a very, very particular set of circumstances, and whoever's doing it is very unlikely to actually survive. The kobolds have relayed us the history have relayed us the legend on how to destroy these. Apparently, a Martyr descendant is required, and they need to breathe on it, and then everything within a large distance will be engulfed in flame. The safest bet on these would be to try and contain them.
He kind of thinks, and he's like, you can see the gears in his head going, "Can I find a descendant of Mardavir?"
Yeah, well, predicting his train of thought, I would like to reply with, as far as we know, Martyr actually never produced an heir, so good luck.
What qualifies someone as a heir in this case?
Do I know?
No, you don't.
Did I just say like that? I do not know. The kobolds didn't know either.
Then more research is going to be required. At the very
Yes.
least, there's a spark of hope we can cut him off at the pass.
Mm. The problem is the ritual requires 5 stones.
Mm-hmm.
The cult has at least 2 that we know of,
Mm-hmm.
or at least 1, I think. And we have no knowledge on how many there are in existence in general.
You see,
Yes.
his face kind of stroke his chin, and he beckons you to come along, and he tells his guards to stay behind.
Hmm.
Um, this would
It's
probably
probably,
be like a
well,
very unsafe action of him to do if it wasn't for the fact that the stranger seems more than ready to gun you down at a moment's notice.
yeah, well, I'm not going to do anything, yeah.
They're still hired to you know.
Yeah, I know, I know. I mean, the bird might have some, like, I don't know, sort of kind of friendship, uneasy relationship with my character, but she's going to kill me.
It's going to be
Like,
the big
I don't
finale.
question that.
Big
I mean,
finale. The
have you
gun.
seen those critical hits? Holy
Yeah.
shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not getting on the wrong side of a
Barrel of laughs.
barrel.
That's what
Yes.
you get when you can shoot 4 times and you got a 10% chance to critical. But Mr. Astroban shows you to his own personal quarters, and
Hmm.
you see that he has a very large bookcase on which are very old and musty tomes. And then he starts off with, I always liked collecting tomes on ancient legends.
Yes.
So maybe, just maybe, there's a way in here to circumvent the requirements for destroying the orb.
Nice. Is it going to be like a library club?
What?
Like a library club, people come together with books and they discuss books that they've read and they read books to each other,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuff.
I will conduct this research personally, although you can certainly help. Do you know of the Tribune of Dragons that governs these lands?
Do I? Because I know the history and I think I know the
If you
religion.
know enough of the area, you've probably at least heard of the Tribunal.
Well, I know some things, but could you refresh me then?
There are 3 dragons of ancient renown who live in these lands and have long since guarded it. Though they have not interfered in the war that took these lands from us, they most certainly still guard it from threats great and large. They have
So
helped us
there's
find that information on Mardavir, for example.
so there's more dragons than just Martivir.
Yep. No, these are just
And
regular dragons. They're not like mythical super dragons.
no, I see.
The tribunal consists out of 3. There is a sand dragon, a golden dragon, and a brass dragon.
Hmm.
The brass dragon lives near Tel Alim, the gold dragon lives near Freyport, and the sand dragon lives in the sinking sands. And essentially, they consider themselves the de facto rulers of the area, though they don't do anything. Like, they're more just there for chit chats and tea and crumpets, and kicking out the occasional like super mind flayer, essentially.
Wow.
They
So
don't.
one of them lives in Tel Alim?
None of them lives near Tel Alim. It's prospected that
Oh,
he has a house in the palace itself. He has a room for himself in the palace somewhere, but he generally hangs out like near the spring where there's less people and thus less people that are gonna be like, "Hey, look, a dragon."
okay. Can you tell me again the names? Because I'm looking at the map, can't quite find them.
That's where he would hang out most of the time. This is Tel Alim, which is where you are right now.
Yes, that's Tel Alim. That's the current city.
The dragon would hang out all the way over to the west, which is in the sinking sands, like near the Simp, in the
Okay,
sands,
let me
sinking
just write
sands.
it down. Do they have like their actual names?
I don't have names for them actually. I have names for one of them, I think. I never really needed to devise names for these creatures.
Oh, it's fine. Okay. So which one is in the sands?
The sand dragon's in the sands,
Sands to the
west.
west.
It's in the sinking sands, at the Kazal Simp.
Sinking. Sands to the west. That would be what kind of dragon?
A sand
Sand
dragon.
dragon? Okay.
God, I should have the name here somewhere.
Oh, it's fine. It's probably like not even in the books, and maybe people are not
I
communicating
got her
with them
name.
much, so they
Yes.
kill stuff.
So
Okay.
the one living in Freyport, which is all the way to the south, the little area with the cave nearby.
1 second. Freyport, yeah.
That's a gold dragon, and her name is Maricia of Glaren.
Maricha.
Yes.
Cute. Mauritia, Gold Dragon. Okay. Wait, is Gold Dragon a chromatic one?
No, they are super good.
So metallic. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm an idiot. Damn. It's like gold. Is gold a color? No, it's a metal. Dumbass. Ah. Okay. So Freeport, Mauritia, gold. That's one of them sinking sands to the west. The Sun Dragon at Kessel Simp. What's his name?
The Kessel Simp. I don't have a name for him.
Okay.
I'll think up some names and details.
Sure. What about the other two? Or the other one, I guess.
He's a brass dragon, and he lives near Tel Alim. It's because you know why. He's a brass.
He likes to talk.
He's the rumor mill of town.
I'm sorry, what?
He's the rumor mill of town. Essentially, if rumors come from someplace, it's him.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Well, I guess we'll have a lot to talk about. And I adjust myself and just from cackling like an idiot at my own stupid joke.
The Duke kind of goes, okay, good for you.
Yeah, good for me.
Now, we need to
Do they
consider.
pay attention to the fact that I am now like double colored?
Oh, he's noticed, and he's like not trying to draw attention to it because he doesn't really understand your type. He's being polite about it.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Like, if anything, it'd be like, oh, you've probably like struck a deal with the nearby brass dragon or something.
Maybe. Well, technically, I am turning into a brass dragon as a ability.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, is does this happen every time I turn into one, or does this happen every time I actually use the breath ability? Which one
This
is
is
it?
every time that you use your breath ability like more than once in a short period of time. So every time you overdraw on your ability,
I
it starts
see.
to affect you.
So I get two uses. As long as I do one less use than that, I'll be fine, I
Your
guess.
dragon mentality also gets stronger as you do it, so be careful.
Uh, True enough. What does this entail?
Well,
Entail.
like I said, you feel the inclination to start building a horde.
Well, I have a horde.
Hee
I should probably like I would treat this as a like compulsive like thing, and I will probably try to channel it into something harmless, like a horde of 90s paraphernalia, right? Or broken VHS tapes, or spoons, or kobolds. A
No,
horde of kobolds.
not the bolds.
Build an army
That's
of
what he
them.
wants you to do.
I know.
You're
Well,
falling right
fine.
into his hands.
I'm gonna build a horde of corvids, and stranger here is the first specimen.
Heck,
Heck,
that's racist. But sure.
why? Why is it
She's
racist?
Tengu. She's not really a crow. She's crow-like. Bad.
Crow-like, that's what I'm saying. A corvid. I didn't call her crow. I just said that she's a
I
corvid
know, I know. Okay.
with a
But
gun. Damn.
since you're doing this,
Yes.
he does recommend that perhaps it would be a good idea to see the local dragons and see if they have any input on the matter. Like
Yeah.
he's already
That,
consulted with them, but he's not like consulted them on the idea of okay, we have an orb, let's see if we can destroy them. So he kind of wants you to call them together.
this will probably be a problem,
Hmm?
or at least the. I wouldn't put all the people in charge of defending the land in one place, considering the cult just attacked your own
Well,
palace.
at, they're not like the only guard. They're just like they consider themselves the de facto guardians of the land against like supernatural threats.
All
And
right.
it's
Well,
not like
fair
they couldn't
enough.
just they could easily just go back in like a day.
Okay, fair enough. Well, let's hope this doesn't bite us. Haha, in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in that case, the closest one would probably be the Telalim one,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't know where he is, or she is. He is. I don't know. We do have the one from Freeport, so we could head there, and we've been there already once.
Fair point. Well, he can probably take care of the Telelim one himself, like at the Brass Dragon invited.
Yeah, also, I forgot, what happens to the kobolds that are holding the Rakshasa?
What do you mean?
Well, they confiscated the thing from Rakshasa.
Hmm.
What happened to them? Are they still like in prison?
Well, the Rakshasa are still in prison until they've like settled on what kind of punishment they're going to dish out.
Okay.
They're probably like if they're like particularly like stalwart, they're just gonna say, okay, we're just gonna kill them. Like fuck these guys.
Well, I mean, honestly, that would be the prudent choice because some of them might have either recognized us or know of us, or yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Tessat reminds you that kobolds do not take their dragon religions lightly.
yeah.
Heck.
Heck,
So, shall we call Luke? We've been at this for 2.5 hours.
yeah. I think this is a nice enough break off point.
So next up, we're going back to Freeport.
Yep.
Talk to Mauricia.
Either that. Well, we'll probably go and check to the quarters in Tel Alim to see if the dude is there,
Good call.
and then go to Freyport if he's not there. And then when we return, maybe he'll be here. If not, then we'll go to the Sinking Sands.
Yep. That'll be great.
They probably have the means of communicating because they're dragons and they can fly.
Yep. Okay,
It's
so
like, hmm?
any closing thoughts before I stop the stream?
That's about it. I am getting a compulsive idea of hoarding stuff, which is not very healthy, I would imagine.
No.
Yeah. I'm getting a neat mottled pattern on the skin, so I suppose that's cool.
Cool.
We are sitting on a pile of gold, which I love, in character and out of character. We can probably go and procure something. Oh, before I go, I'm gonna ask the guy what the hell is up with smokestacks in the city.
If you can keep it quiet, some of the local Rakshasa have been causing trouble.
Well, quick question though, why does he have to conceal himself if the Rakshasa openly live in the town?
Well, that's because the local sizzling sands is technically speaking used to be its own place. Then it wasn't, and it just so happens that the person that took over was like, I don't want any monsters in my courts, and so he's like, okay, I'm a human. Look at me, I'm all human.
So you technically concealed your identity to win the elections or something?
No, he concealed his identity so that the local king would be like, okay, you're chill, you can stay.
Oh, in that sense. Okay, fair enough.
He
So the
barely
local
comes to
king knows
visit,
that
so
he's Rakshasa, but he's like, I pretend to be human.
like most people know it around here, and they always just go, yeah, he's human. Wink.
Wink, yeah. He's a
We all
giant
know that
cat
wink.
that can level
Giant cat that
towns.
appears as a very buff black dude most of the time.
Yep.
It's his human sona, really.
There was this silly joke about aliens as they discover humanity, they would actually make like human sonas
Oh my
out of
god,
it.
every single fucking painting of his human form is just art he commissioned.
Yes.
It's great.
This is silly. Yes, this is silly, but this is the kind of implications. I mean, they would probably have the same weirdos as we do.
Hey, tomorrow we might do Kobold Capers again, depending on if Mayo shows up. Ooh.
That would be neat, yeah. And if not, there's always the solo thing. We have the tango thingy that we haven't started yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Well, that it?
Well,
Gonna call it?
yeah, yeah, that it. The only thing
Bye-bye.
is, well, yeah. Goodbye. Thanks for tuning in. I suppose if you set for the whole thing.